got Clobberers. Sorry for the late start. And we should have some other. Whoa, we got noisy noise coming in from somewhere. Who do we blame for this? I'll let Esh blame whoever he wants. Esh.
I mean, we usually blame Jed, but he's not here, so.
We can still blame him.
Okay.
No, you can blame Retro. I thought you were going to blame Retro, but he's
well, we can blame Retro too.
No, he's muted. Well, you can still blame him. No.
Retro's
hey there,
Hi, everybody.
What's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome to.
Hey,
hi, everybody.
It's Thursday. It's not really the Global Geek Gang in a sense, but I guess it sort of is because we're kind of global. But it's just sort of a Doctor Who anniversary special. I want to thank, of course, the great Michael French from Retro Blasting for hanging out with me last night. It's amazing. Had a wonderful time hanging out with my old buddy. Who was just talking Doctor Who, which was so much fun. I really appreciate it.
Go and listen to it. Great stream.
Oh, thanks, man. We were on. Well, I always keep them on so late. We're on 3 hours there, but it was a lot of fun, and it was just amazing. And I have some, of course, some Global Geek Gangers are here with us. There is, of course, the great Retro Dicky, buddy. Welcome.
Hey, thanks very much. I'm looking forward to this.
Two original GGGers are here, and of course, two wonderful guests. The great Lord Thoth. Welcome, brother.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Indeed. And that 70s rock fan.
Hey, thanks for having me on, sir. Really appreciate it.
He's also that 70s Doctor Who fan as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm probably the oldest person alive ever to have watched Doctor Who live. No, I'm just kidding.
Probably are. You might be, man. We will verify that.
Close.
We'll
60 years.
Well, there you go. We'll verify that.
This is my 5th regeneration, so I've seen it too.
I could do with one. I need a regeneration badly.
You need a regeneration.
Well, I've certainly got a face that's worn out a few bodies anyway. So
they weren't your bodies, so you don't.
Well, absolutely. We have some other friends invited. I don't know if they will be here, but I hope they will. Again, there were some Doctor Who YouTubers. You only get 10 spots on this thing, and I thought, some of them might show up. Hopefully, some other friends will show up soon. And I didn't really plan it like a regular global Geek Gang thing because it's a round table. But none of them are here yet. The only important one here really is Lord Thoth. Everybody else is kind of expendable, but don't tell them that. Oh, they heard me. Shit. I'm sorry.
Thoth and I are behind the maple curtain in the gulag of Canada, so we may well get a knock on the door any minute and dragged away. So,
True. I have an advantage, though. I have a piece of tin that allows me free access everywhere I want to go.
Yeah, I'm coming to live with you then.
True. Right. Well, there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
That might be me knocking at your door. That
could be, yeah, but at least you'll treat me gently then. Beat me gently and politely.
Yes, absolutely. And we will. Well, what do we got going on? A couple of show notes. First, we'll say some hellos. The wonderful anti-derivative Jill is here. Snortapoopus, what's up, buddy? The beautiful Purple Valkyrie. Hey, Purple. Great to see you. Stuart Mitchell is here. Hey, buddy. Hey. Dolly had braces. Never forget. Dolly had braces. D-Bud Martin. Yeah, hey, J-Man. What's up, bro? Keely Chow, an insincere roll tide to you. The lovely Sherry. Look at that. Beautiful ladies are here. You gotta love that. Your Muslim uncle. What's up, my friend? I hope you were doing well. JPRPH1. John. What's up, man? Good to see you. Well, let's see here. Who else is in here? Well, we got a few people in, and we have hopefully some more people will trickle in later. Crazy Junior, hey there. I don't have access to the whole damn chat there, so I can't see everything that's going on fast, everyone. But welcome, everyone who was here. Usually Saturday Night Star Trek is when we single everyone out anyway. It's LDG Geeks Enjoy. Hello there. Let's see here. What am I doing? What am I trying to find? Oh, okay. Show notes real quick, folks. Tonight, of course, Clobby's Comics. No, that's the wrong one. That's Clobby's Clubhouse. I'm getting all the Clobby things confused. With my wonderful first officer, Raquel R.M. Briggs. And the great Mark D with the C, who may pop in later. He's busy. Yeah, but he'll definitely be here tonight for the show. And hopefully I'll see him there. Saturday night Star Trek, again, starting season 4. 4 more episodes reviewed of Star Trek The Next Generation, and our ongoing mission to review all of real Star Trek 66 through 2005, except no filth. And my Clobby's Comics Corner Spinner Rack new video dropped yesterday, and the secondary one will drop later today. And of course, I got a bunch of other I'm trying to come out with as many comics history, Bronze Age history short trip videos as I can. So yeah, videos, because you're supposed to do videos, right? They say that, don't they say that? Have you heard that? You've heard that thought, right? You're supposed to do videos if you have a channel.
10-4.
Absolutely.
Captain Cockney Spock is here, except he doesn't have a Doctor Who avatar, so I'm banning him. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, dude?
Hey, how you going? Wrong avatar. Sorry.
No, don't change it.
Don't change it.
I'm not changing nothing. I'm going to change it to Deckard.
Well,
It's great to have you aboard, Captain Cockney Spock.
is Deckard a Time Lord?
Hail, Captain.
He might be a Time Lord. He's a fake Time Lord.
Well, is the Doctor a replicant then?
Maybe.
The doctor.
Now, yes.
No. Darius Munchausen, what's up?
I hear-
Ironcaster. Go ahead, bud.
I hear that the Doctor is a Blackadder, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, it's Time
Nicely
Lord.
put.
And us? Yes. And Lord Melchett. No. Well, hello everyone. Well, other friends will pop in later, I guess. They have, it was all set up, but again, it is across the pond for some of them, and it's late, and I hope they make it. I think Bold's Track will be here soon, he said, and Arwen may pop in. I mean, we should have room for everybody. We'll see. But it doesn't matter. What we're going to do, we're going to do it more like a round table, not the chaos of the general global Geek gang, but we're doing it at the same time slot, so it's GGG. But we've done 3 other round tables, right, Tosh? 3.
3, I think, yeah.
Green Lantern Part 1 and 2, and then, of course, our wonderful Legion of Superheroes.
Yes.
Well, so
All epic.
now, as you can all see, this table's not round,
Uh,
but forgive us. It's more like triangle, and if more people show up, it still won't be round. I hope you can forgive us for that. But it's a table, though, or it's a desk, something like that. And as last night was with Dr. Who, and Michael French and I, we're going to just basically celebrate the Doctor Who that we love because it is the anniversary, and many of us hate what's happened to the show over the past. Well, it depends on what your time frame is. The Chibi era, but I even didn't like what Moffat was doing, to be honest. Hate the Chibi era. But everyone talks about those things, and we thought we would do something where we just, I don't know, talk about the Who we loved, because it was for a long time a show that brought us joy. And, I guess what I'll basically do is I'm going to go around the horn in a minute and we're going to start with some basic stuff that everyone talks about, like how they got started, loving the show and all that stuff. Was it J-Man? Hey, J-Man, what's up, dude? He says, I'm finding my top Baker scarf at K9 and Pertwee Sonic. Oh, yes. I had one. By the way, I had a Baker scarf back in the 80s. When I fell in love with the show back in 81, 82, I had my mom had a lady make me the 10-footer, about a 10-footer. It wasn't like the exact length or anything, but it looked just like it. And I wore it everywhere. And I want it. I wish I still had it. Oh, man. I would still wear it. Clobberin, I hope Davies can fix Who. I'll need something to watch during KK getting 3-year extension. Well, crazy. I'm just going to tell you, I have no faith in that. We're not going to go. But that's not what we're talking about today in terms of future stuff. But just to tell you, guard yourself on that one. Don't get your hopes up because he's under control. And I don't think he will. For me personally, the only way to fix it is to ignore what's going on the past 4 years or whatever. But that's just me. Everyone's different that way. Disaster area. What's up, buddy? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around a little bit and ask my friends here on the panel, on the table. It's not a panel. It's a table. Sorry. Got out of character for a second. How they got started with Doctor Who. And how good a typist they are. You can tell they're pretty good because you can hear it.
They're typing with a hammer, though. It's just
Yes.
Well, why wouldn't you? Yeah. Don't we all? You know? So, let's see.
Toffee hammer.
Yes, and of course, at some point later, Retro is going to show us some cool. You do have stuff for us for some show and tell, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I think I've popped my hernia again by moving everything. So yeah, yeah, I've got some stuff to show. Definitely have.
And if anyone else does, feel free. By the way, if you have anything, if you, I don't have a lot of merch anymore. Not on Doctor Who. I don't know if any of you do. The latest thing I have is my good buddy Michael French sent me the Doctor and the TARDIS from the Monster of Peladon. They have many different TARDISes. He collects them all of these new TARDISes they're doing, and it's of course Third Doctor from the episode Monster of Peladon. That was pretty nice, but generally that stuff's expensive. Can't really afford it. So, and shout out to those who are going to see Ghostbusters today. I probably will either today or tomorrow. Don't worry, Mark. You will see. I got your back on that Ecto 1. You all know about that, right? The Ecto 1?
Yeah, with the popcorn. Yeah, we got that one.
You can only get it today, though.
Cool.
Yeah, on opening night only.
Ooh.
Yep, you can only get it today at AMC only. So, yeah, I'm going to try for you. I'm going to try to go get that for him.
You get a car. You get an
Exo
1. You get an Exo 1.
Yes, you get an Ecto 1. And you ain't afraid of no ghost. So, seeing Ghostbusters, J-Man, if go to an AMC and get you out that $35 popcorn thingy. If they have it up there.
No Dana, only Zool.
There is no Dana, only Zool.
Hey, Daddy.
Well, let's see here. Lord Thoth, buddy. It's good to have you hang with us because I know it's tough for you to get the time off these days and stuff. So when you can make it, that's great to see you. Tell us your origin story with Doctor Who. How did you get started and how long has it been and all that good stuff, if you would?
Well, I think it's kind of similar to around the same time you got into Doctor Who, Clobby. For me, it was growing up right before school in the morning up here in Canada. My father used to have a satellite dish, and the Sci-Fi Channel used to run some old reruns of Doctor Who, the classic Doctor Who. So at first, I used to skip through it. I used to always check out the Sci-Fi Channel in the morning, see what was on. It used to be, Lost in Space, Doctor Who, that kind of stuff used to be early on in the morning because I was looking for classic Star Trek episodes is what I wanted to watch. Well, I stumbled on Tom Baker. And at the time, it was Pyramids of Mars was playing.
Love it.
And I just got so sucked into the whole Egyptian motif. It was only 4 parts, so I picked it up on episode 2. So I was a little bit lost. But I saw this grizzled old man, this beautiful companion, this weird scarf. At the time, I thought incredible special effects, amazing story, and that hooked me. And once I started watching that, I just kept going and going and going. And so for me, even though I saw, bits and pieces of Hartnell and Trout and Pertwee before Tom Baker, my Doctor has always been and always will be Tom Baker, the 4th Doctor. Now, this was, I think it was 81, 82 maybe. It was early 80s, if I can remember back correctly. I won't date myself and tell you how old I was at the time, but I was a young man. And it was an unbelievable experience. And this coming up from a kid who, before he could walk, was watching Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock and Dr. McCoy with my uncle at my grandparents every lunchtime having fish and chips or hot dogs and French fries. And it was one of those things at 12 o'clock, that's what we'd watch. And it used to be we only had 3 channels. So it was, you had CBC, you had the French channel. And so you had to kind of pick your times and when those shows were on. So I was hooked on Star Trek. But then I got introduced to Doctor Who and I was just ravenous. I had to watch it every morning before going to school. And it's one of those life-changing experiences. Now, Star Trek will always be my all-time favorite, but Doctor Who comes a close second.
Love it. Yeah. So this is, I guess you're talking way back in the Like I know you're a lot younger than me, dude, but somewhere in the 80s, right? Basically.
Yeah, it was the 80s. It had to have been, I want to say like 81, 82, 83. I think it was around 82, actually,
Wow.
because Baker's run had just finished, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And then, so I was a little upset, and that's because I had watched Pyramids of Mars, and then I found out that, oh no, Peter Davison took over, and I went, well, he's not a good doctor. I don't want to watch him. Because I want to just watch Tom Baker. And then I got kind of hooked into Peter Davison's run too, and started watching his stuff too. Whenever we could get it here in Canada. I also remember the VHS tapes and how expensive they were, because we had a VCR, and to buy the tapes they were like $20 or $30 a piece, and they only had like 2 episodes on them, so it was a little bit challenging to try to catch up and watch all the old stuff. But yeah, it was early 80s.
Yeah, love it, man. Yes, that was. Well, that was. Oh, dude, don't worry, Everett Retro. I want to see. We're gonna do the full show with your stuff there, brother. Yvette, hello there, Yvette. Welcome. I don't think we've had the pleasure, but it's lovely to see you. Thank you. And good, we have Sherry here, but we have ladies here, Purple here. But it's just so nice, so nice. In fact, you guys, just I'm glad you're here too. But let's face it, they're ladies. That's what we like the most. We're sexist.
It's ladies' night tonight. Hail
It
Cherie,
is.
hail Nurse Ratchet. I mean, Yvette.
Indeed. So
She lets me get away with it.
Of course. Now, Cockney, when did again? Because like I say, I guess I knew you didn't like time travel, or you like to joke around with it. We won't go into the time travel thing here that much. But I absolutely had no clue you were a Doctor Who fan. I really did. I never heard you talk about it. I know you were a Star Trek fan, or at least. Well, I mean that's obvious, right? And I know you like you love time travel very much. You love Back to the Future, really. We know all that. But I was not aware you were a Doctor Who fan. So give me your Doctor Who origin. Tell me how you got started with it.
I mean, you're right. 'Cause to be fair, it's not. I guess it was like a pyramid of favorites, because you got me thinking that I'm a Star Wars guy. You may have heard I'm a bit of a Blade Runner guy, but through listening to your show, I've realised it is Star Trek and Doctor Who that I grew up with. So actually, Kirk was my first captain, and Doctor Who was my first time traveller. Well, then I've got to think: is it Silly on the Edge of Forever, or is it one of Doctor Who's adventures? And yeah, my slight obsession with time travel does come from a bit too much Captain Kirk and a bit too much Doctor Who on a Saturday tea time. No, I never hid behind the sofa watching Doctor Who as a kid. I was just looking for something, a 50p that I dropped. I wasn't afraid of those Sontarans. So, my favourite, I was just looking for something. I dropped my homework. My favourite Doctor Who is George Lazenby. No, sorry, I mean Harrison.
He is a Time Lord,
it is. I normally like to go for the hipster, non-obvious option, but it is Tom Baker. That's the one I grew up with. And I know Clobby, a little bit of controversy, but my favourite Lala Ward. Freudian slip. My favourite Romana is Lala Ward, because I know you like the other.
Is that
controversial?
Romana. No, I love Layla, but Mary Tam is gorgeous, but Layla played her for longer. Great. Yeah. Layla played her for longer, though.
I mean, in a way, they could, if they're having a controversy, casting the next Doctor Who, just have a couple of Romana episodes in there. That'd be good.
So do you think Tom? You think Tom would rather married her than Layla, or what?
I think he'd rather be a bigamist. He'd time travel to have 2 weddings at the same time. Thanks to a TARDIS, you could do both. And then, if you time it right, it's, all good for, but never around for the washing up. Anyway, moving on. So so I don't hog the whole time. Although Tom Baker remains my favourite, it is the Peter Davidson episode specifically for the time travel. If I was a real expert, I'd know the title, but I don't. But it's the one where he goes back to Pudding Lane. Spoiler alert: the Fire of London, the Great Fire of London.
Yeah, the Visitation.
Yeah. It was started by frickin' Doctor Who. But without going into it, I'm just opening the can of worms, but I'm not looking into it. I like that, because like 12 Monkeys, it suggests that when you go back in time, you don't change the time. You create the time that you came from. It's a loop. Boom, mind blown. I've been thinking about it for 40 years and I'm still settling down. So thanks to Doctor Who, I can never sleep. All right, I think that sums it up. Thanks. Back to you, Clobby.
Well,
in the studio.
Cockney, when it comes to the time travel and stuff like that and the paradoxes, things, I'm with you. I think on the reason why a lot of people are willing to give Doctor Who a pass, because it is just a fantasy about, the Time Lords. They mix some science fiction in there, but it is mostly a fantasy concept, really, where it's just
Right.
ultra powerful beings are complete control and mastery of time. And if the Doctor even says sometimes, I know what I'm doing, I'm a Time Lord, I can do this, but not everyone can. And suspension of disbelief is fine when it's a fantasy. I think if it's trying to pass it off as science fiction, it's a little bit more problematic. If I hate the word, but I love the City on Edge Forever, at least because it's, it doesn't give you an answer, try to explain it. But I do understand. I love Star Trek as well, right? But I'm never that fond of time travel in Star Trek all that often, to be honest with you, either. Sometimes, they're good stories, but I wish they'd kind of stay away from it more than they did.
Yeah, my understanding is that the origins of Doctor Who is because the BBC want to teach the kids about history, so not necessarily about the physics of time travel. It's
Right.
Just an excuse. So,
yes.
Yeah.
That's correct. 6, lovely 6. Hey there. Oh, you got to run, dear. Well, I'm sorry. Well, it's great to see you. 6. I'm screaming your name.
So Romana is your favorite companion then?
My favorite. I'm gonna get to the companion question, but that is a good question. So Romana is Cockney's favorite companion, apparently.
Yeah, definitely.
Great one. Yeah, I love her. 70s. How did you get started as a Doctor Who fan, and what was it like watching An Unearthly Child in 1963 when it first aired on television?
When I was but a mere fetus. No. But they had the television on very loudly so I could hear it. That isn't so far from the truth, Clobby, because I have Doctor Who for me is like the Beatles. It's like the Beatles of television. I have grown up immersed in this show since it started. I was born in 63, so I was there at the conception of the show, as it were. And my whilst I should say right out of the gate that John Pertwee is my favourite Doctor, my first Doctor is Patrick Trout.
Wow.
And I distinctly, and it's like Shakespeare. You don't know it unless you heard it in the original Klingon. Doctor Who, you do not know it unless you've seen it in the original black and white.
Yes.
And I literally then, as a little child, grew up like listening to the Beatles on the radio, watching Doctor Who on television. It was such a huge part of the cultural scene in Britain in the 1960s. Saturday night or Saturday afternoon television, or early evening, whatever you want to call it, family show. And it literally was, the cliche at the time was, kids are hiding behind the sofa because they're so scared of the monsters in Doctor Who. And that is not just a cliche, it's true. I distinctly remember when that music came on, that unearthly music for the theme, that I would hide behind the couch because I couldn't look, because it always started and ended with a cliffhanger. So there was going to be a monster scene or whatever, and you, as a 3-4-year-old, would go behind the couch and go, I can't watch this. Why parents allowed this then, I don't know, because that's almost like subjecting your child to abuse. But so I distinctly, I grew up with it. It's not even like I can say I started watching it at a certain time because I caught it on TV or whatever. I grew up watching this show, so it's part of your life. It's weird to think of that when you get into around about 60 years old, that some things have been a part of your life the entire time. So my earliest memories of watching the show that I can specifically remember were the episodes of The Web of Fear.
Nice.
And I'm going to just share a few images if I can. So
Certainly.
That one I distinctly remember because of that image of the Yeti coming out of the London Underground. Now, the black and white to me only adds to it because it made it even more kind of gloomy, and the resolution was low on TVs at that time anyway, particularly as they were only about 12 inches wide and had a Well,
Right.
we must have had a 14-inch one, I think, in those days. But anyway, so Patrick Troughton was my first Doctor, and I still love Patrick Troughton to this day.
Oh,
He was a fantastic character actor, but what he brought to that role, yes, he was the cosmic hobo, but he was so versatile that he could become deadly serious, and he was played a very moral Doctor, and he could be very hard and serious when required. So we see from the Web of Fear here, obviously, Colonel, as he was at the time, Lethbridge Stewart.
First appearance.
His actual first appearance was in episode 2, but it was just a pair of boots walking.
I mean, the story, though. That's his first story.
Yeah. And but yeah, episode 3, you saw Nicholas Courtney for the first time. And I don't think it was unit. It was still just an ordinary army
that's right.
thing. But that was his first appearance. And then, if I could just come up. So there's the first appearance on screen of Snortopupus Q. Burr. And his companion. But this is roughly speaking, these scenes of them in the London Underground stuck in my mind throughout the decades since. So it made a big impression. It's the first episode. I was about 5 years old, just about 5. And I actually remember watching it, actually saying, I'm going to watch this television show tonight, not just it's on and I'm in the room. And it made a huge impression on me. But yeah, it scared me shitless, them coming out of this underground. And then there's everyone's favourite English Scotsman, Fraser Hines, with his kilt on, and the web itself, which is a great shot. And yeah, he was English, but hey, he did a great job, a great job.
Great job.
And then this scene I like because Deborah Watling had such great pins.
Oh boy.
And she's got the kilt on too. So I think Fraser Hines looked just like that. And it's a shame that some of this season was lost. Obviously, it's been recreated in various ways for DVD releases and so on. But it is an absolutely fantastic serious part of Doctor Who, The Web of Fear, and I remember watching it distinctly. So I was hooked. So throughout the years ever after that, I was a Doctor Who fanatic. As I say, John Pertwee is probably my favourite. Joe is probably my favourite companion. But up until I guess I slightly, and I had all the original, the novelizations at the time. Over the years, I've since, sold or given away many of them to my bitter regret. I even had a Tom Baker signed one. I can't remember which episode it was, but signed novelization. But bitterly regret that now. But when it got into the Sylvester or McCoy year, I started to lose a little bit of interest because I felt it was reaching a little bit plot-wise. And then I get excited for Paul McGann, and I still think that's actually a lot better, that movie, than many people would give it credit for.
That movie's terrible, dude. Come on, what's wrong with you? I'm sorry.
But now, and I was excited for the reboot with Christopher Eccleston, and indeed watched the majority of those. But obviously now I'm taking a sabbatical.
Nice.
But yeah, that was my earliest experiences. I don't have a great deal of collectibles left, as I say, over the years, moved many times, lost a lot of them, but I would recommend, just if you give me one more second, if no one's got this book or never read this book, this is essential if you want to find out about the cultural vandalism of the BBC.
Damn them!
And the efforts that have been made to recover their short-sightedness. This is a fantastic book.
Nice.
And it doesn't just cover that, it really talks about the entire production of Doctor Who from the inception. It's a fabulous book, so I'd recommend that highly. But that's my Doctor Who earliest memories, and it's like the Beatles, it means a great deal to me. It's part of my life as opposed to just being a show,
Yeah, well, you never know.
There might have been one or two Canadians in the genesis of Doctor Who that might have been involved too, eh?
Maybe even their creator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe
there's Canadians there, eh?
The creator himself, Sidney Newman. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yes,
exactly.
Well, it's a fascinating Inception story with the variety. I mean, you talk about diversity nowadays. There was no forced diversity then, and yet Doctor Who was diverse from the start in terms of its production team and its direction and writing. It had a lot of elements in it that now they have to force, But
Yeah, it's all forced now. But I did not know 70s until you mentioned it last night that you were a fan. We've never talked about that before. Again, you never know who is a fan. So
it's well hidden.
That's great, man.
No,
it's just that we never talked about it,
And I should just point out that the Beatles, my all-time favourite band, of course, were in Doctor Who once, but only on the television screen in the TARDIS.
Yeah,
that's right. On the Chase, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Art now.
It's a great moment in pop culture history. That is a brilliant moment.
Yes, indeedness. Now, welcome to my good buddy J-Man, who has joined us. Hey, brother.
Oh,
we got to see this scarf.
Yeah, got my Sonic. How's my audio?
Cool.
It's good, man. Look at the. I
J-Man?
I have that Sonic screwdriver, but I don't have.
Hey, K9.
Hey.
Hello.
If it was just master, we have J-Man on the show.
Oh, that's perfect.
Good to see you, brother. Welcome, man. Again,
Thanks for having me.
We've talked only a few times, and like a couple of my other friends here, I did not know you were Doctor Who fan. Look at all the great stuff you have. We talked comics, and we've never. I guess it just never came up. I don't run around asking him what they're a Doctor Who fan, but I just didn't even know it. And then you were like, oh man, a lot of people. When I planned like last night's show with Michael, and then this one popping in, and they're all talking Doctor Who. I mean, it just goes to show you that. Unfortunately, with the vandalism that has happened to it over the past few years, notwithstanding, there's still a lot of love for the show, the real show, the real deal with Doctor Who.
Right.
So, and it's good to see you there. Listen, I'm gonna get to you in a second there, Jay man. Listen, we're going around getting everyone's Doctor Who beginnings and origins a little bit, brother. And Ash,
Yo.
what? Oh, wait, let me say welcome another friend who has just popped in. Formerly Bolt Track. What's up, brother?
Hey.
Hello. How is y'all?
We're great,
Hey, Bolt
man.
Track.
Hi, dude.
We're just
Hey,
going around
guys.
man, thank you for being here, but we're just going around the table, getting everyone's Doctor Who origin a bit, like finding out how everyone got started. Doing as I probably mentioned to you before, sort of just a Doctor Who love fest. I had my retro blasting buddy Michael French on last night. We talked Doctor Who for 3 hours, and I wanted to have this to just celebrate, on this 58th anniversary that's coming up, celebrate why we love the show instead of the tragedy that has, befallen it over the past many years. So
the disaster,
the disaster. It still has so much that we love, and I've got various things I'm going to run by everybody, like in a round table fashion. And I wanted to have you here for this because, of course, I am a huge fan of your channel. It had been for years, sir. It's just it's gotten me through some tough times of Doctor Who, I'll let you know, including your latest review.
Oh, thanks, Clobby. Oh, you mean my completely apathetic review where I stopped caring?
That was hilarious, by the way. I was like, damn, he doesn't even care anymore.
Nobody could tell.
Yes.
We're all glad you're back, Bulls Trek. We're all glad you're back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm sort of back, sort of not back, but I'm here. I'm suffering. It's awful. It's just awful.
Boy, is it. Boy, is it.
Yeah. And Clobby, I was going to tell you, I could only do about an hour or so.
That's cool, man. Look.
Okay, cool.
I'm just honored to have you here, buddy. I'm just honored to have you here. And we're going to. I'm probably gonna. We're not gonna reinvent the wheel or anything in terms of. We're gonna talk a lot of the stuff that you usually talk about when you talk about something you love. But I actually have a few things to throw at you. Some of you guys you may not have thought of before, but I'm going to just like doing it. Getting everyone's say and stuff. And I'll get to both you and Jay, man. I want to get Ash's origin, and then Retro. And a little bit later, Retro's gonna have a fun little show for us. He's always showing us cool Doctor Who stuff that he has. So. Ash, brother.
Yes.
Cool. Retro Doc.
Yeah, the Retro Dickie. That's Retro Dickie in disguise.
Cool. Well, I haven't talked to him in forever.
Yeah,
dude. Oh, so awesome to have you on. Anyway, honestly, thanks to you and Noel. Finally realised I wasn't the only one that wasn't going mad.
yes. He's been a Global Geek gang since day one. Member since day one here. So.
Cool. Yeah, it's an adventure. The thing is to see the fun in it, and that's all I can do now. Yeah.
That's what we try to do here all the time. We get together and just kind of geek out about the things that we love, even though we do sometimes lament and criticize, rightly so, those things that we love that have been just, the brutality that has been visited.
You mean basically everything now?
Yeah,
pretty much all of it.
But we're going to talk about cool stuff tonight, though. That's what we're going to do.
Yes.
I like cool stuff.
Yeah.
Indeed. And the show was once so cool. And Ash is since we had 70s, who's older than William Hartnell. Almost. Just kidding.
William Hartnell's my younger brother.
Yeah. Now we go with the younger
younger.
side, because again, there's the thing. This show appeals to all ages, or certainly once did. And Ash, not picking on you for being the young guy. I'm just picking on you because you pick on me all the time with your trolling. No, man, it was good to see you, buddy. So how did you get started as a Doctor Who fan, buddy?
Right. So being the young'un, I started with Eccleston. I'm 22, and I was very young when Eccleston first came on. And like before then, I had no idea what Doctor Who was. I think we only started watching it. I think my parents were familiar with Doctor Who, and they'd watched it from back in the day. I think I do remember them on the odd occasion talking about Tom Baker, because it came on, one of his black and white episodes came on TV, and my parents were, "Oh, that's Tom Baker from Doctor Who. Yeah, this is what we used to watch when we were your age." And so I watched that, and it was pretty cool to see like the old black and white episodes of Doctor Who, and now it's all like coloured and CG and everything. But like I still remember the very first episode of Eccleston with the Autons, and seeing just like moving mannequins. And I remember afterwards I used to like double look at every single mannequin in every store, thinking, is it going to start moving now? Because again, I was just a little kid back then. And like I used to like think of all these different things, like, is this going to move, is that going to move, or when other monsters and creatures got introduced, or is this going to be around the corner? Or when I watched Blink for the first time, I was scared of every statue in every church I drove past. It was a great time, and we used to watch Doctor Who religiously every single week. I remember we used to get a takeout with probably I think we got McDonald's, my little Happy Meal, and the family used to sit around the TV every single week from Eccleston all the way up to Matt Smith, and then we sort of like filtered out. And then I'd say I filtered out with Doctor Who probably halfway through Matt Smith's era, but I still watched on and off all the way through to Eccleston. Not Eccleston, I already mentioned it. Too many doctors, too many names. Peter Capaldi. There we go. And I watched a few of Capaldi's, and I thought, yeah, he's all right. The stories aren't good, but I liked his vibe that he brought to the character.
Yeah.
Like that kind of serious, kind of playful at times. I mean, that one episode where he's got the glasses, the electric guitar on top of a tank, like that's brilliant. But as you can see from my avatar, my Doctor Who is David Tennant. I love David Tennant's Doctor Who. Sure. I love the monsters, the way they did the monsters, the storylines. Like probably my favorite version of the Daleks is like the bronze one, very at the heart of Tennant's era. And I still remember that one episode where I saw the Dalek Emperor for the first time, and they're on the Dalek ships, and it was just crazy to see. And then all the other episodes with the Cybermen, and that was the coolest thing ever when I first saw that. And then later on, we saw like different versions of the Cybermen, different versions of the Daleks, and then we got the Rainbow Daleks with Matt Smith. And I was like, "What the hell are these?" But I still watched it anyway, and it was still fun. Like it was just a fun time. I always used to have fun when I was watching Doctor Who, and like we used to love watching it, and my brother used to love collecting the DVDs. We've got, from start of Eccleston to about end of Matt Smith, all the Doctor Who episodes on DVD, I think, including almost all the specials as well, bar a few along the way. And we've got that whole collection. We used to in the UK, there used to be a Doctor Who magazine that came out. You'd pay monthly and come every week or every month or something. And we used to collect those as kids. And
Oh yeah.
The whole Doctor Who culture. Those were like, for my generation, that was the golden days of Doctor Who. Whereas I'd say of classic Who, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand the golden days were Tom Baker. Because so many people have a vast affinity for Tom Baker. But yeah, I just love Doctor Who. It's a great show.
Yeah, it's brought so many of us so much joy. And as far as the golden age, I guess it kind of just everyone kind of has a different one. I mean, a lot of it sort of stems from how they got started. I've found retro. What got you started? I mean, obviously you were watching you were probably watching the very night The Unearthly Child aired because you're so
right, me. I absolutely love sci-fi. So, of course, when I saw Doctor Who, I started with Tom Baker. And, of course, I watched his first episode, Robot. And, I absolutely loved it. You know what I mean? I mean, that is just fantastic. And seeing that as a little kid, I was just drawn in. And of course, it contains my sci-fi Achilles heel, a giant freaking robot. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, who doesn't love that?
Who doesn't love a giant freaking robot? That is it. And of course, I was just, drawn into it. And Tom's character for me, he was the Doctor for me. I just like, wow, he's got a time machine and he's so clever and he can just solve everything, just by thinking through everything. And I was just drawn in, and I just absolutely, for me, I was even now when I sit down and watch Megapolis, I'm still like, it sounds good. I'm just like that when I watch that episode, because I was so sorry to see him go. So, like for me, Tom Baker is my Doctor, and just so many wonderful, wonderful episodes. One of my personal favourites is the Brain of Mobius, because again, I was only little when I saw that, and of course, it scared the Jesus out of me when the headless monster sat up, and that scared the crap out of me for God knows how long. Absolutely loved it. You just saw it because Sarah Jane was getting the sight back, and it sits up there, and it's got no head. It was like, ah!
I was just thinking of that one the other day. That's weird, yeah.
Yes, we were talking about last night. Robert Holmes, who wrote that, hated that episode, had his name taken off.
Yeah.
That's why when you see the writer credit, Robin Bland.
That's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. And like I say, there's just so many brilliant episodes of Tom Baker. And again, Pyramids of Mars, another favorite. Absolutely wonderful. I could probably just carry on all evening and just reel them off, and Genesis of the Daleks, another one. I mean, it's just such a fantastic episode.
Right.
I mean, the fact that we get to see Davros, you know what I mean? I mean,
that's my all-time favorite episodes. I agree with you.
First one I ever saw.
Yeah. Wonderful. So that was it really. Like I said, I started off as a little kid and saw his very first episode. But again, saying that as well, of course, because when I watched that episode of Robot, I did of course see John Pertwee regenerate into Tom. So again, because of that then kicked in. I was like, wow, what was going on there? So of course, then I found out there was more Doctors. So of course, obviously in my day, we didn't have such things as video recorders then. They didn't exist. So of course, the only way you could find out about it again was reading the Target book novels. That's of course
love them.
that's what got me into collecting the dog. You've probably seen some of the pictures I've put up on Twitter, and that I've put all. It's taken me a long time, but I did eventually more or less finish off my entire Target book collection, and that's where I read all about the other doctors, was through the Target novels. And of course, then when the sort of late 80s, mid 80s occurred, and then the videotapes came up, that was it. Each week I'd be down to HMV, and I'd just go onto the shelf and just go into a trolley and just buy like an entire like season of Doctor Who videotapes and drive my friends absolutely mad, because that's all. I'd just sit there and I'd be they go, "You're going to stick a video on? Yeah, do you want to watch a Doctor Who episode?" No, we don't want to watch. No. And they'd all run off and leave me alone, just sort of watching a Doctor Who episode on my own.
Love it.
Yeah.
About to up Ninja Knight. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Sorry to hear about that on Twitter, but I'm glad your channel's doing well, brother. It's good to see you, my friend. And indeed, someone's quoting Revenge of the Cybermen. Harry Sullivan is an imbecile. I love Harry Sullivan. Ian Martyr was a great dude, by the way. This can't. We may have to change this from the global Geek Gang to the Canadian Geek Gang. We've got fantastic Canadians at 4, including formerly Bulls Trek and J-Man, a couple of Canadians. Formerly, yeah. I would like to basically, what I've been doing is asking everyone how they got started as a Who fan, because I don't know everyone's Who origin, and so I'm just if you have an origin story to speak of it, please tell us what got you started as a Doctor Who fan. And I know you're not as old as the rest of us, so you probably started with Matt Smith, didn't you? No, I know you're not that young. Just kidding.
I could be that young. No, I'm not. Well, no, we're talking to me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Yeah, no, I am. I'm marginally old, sort of. Well, my origin story goes back to actually my earliest memory. I'll just give you 1 second here. We're just trying to fix something. Okay, cool. Yes, no, my origin story actually goes back to my earliest memory. My father was a big Doctor Who fan. He started watching on TV Ontario out of Toronto when they started airing the Pertwee era in the 70s. So he would watch it every Saturday at 7:30, which was the regular time for probably about 20 years until the Shoe series before the show was finally canceled. So my earliest memory is Destiny of the Daleks. I remember the voices scaring the crap out of me, the music scaring the crap out of me, and I remember the crazy, what I thought was funny guy with the hair. So I've been a fan of Doctor Who from the beginning. I watched the original series from Tom Baker's second last season, was traumatized by the Davison regeneration. Up until the end, although it was getting harder to watch the McCoy era, because TV Ontario stopped with season 24. So at that point, I was watching them in omnibus form out of PBS Detroit, which would generally air the new seasons about a year late. So I watched season 26 a full year after it aired in the UK and didn't even know that the show had been put on hiatus until an article, I believe it was in Starlog, I think in late 1991. So 2 years after the hiatus that it had actually effectively been canceled. Became really obsessive when the show came back. For years, for I think close to 10 years actually, I did a series on my channel where I would unbox and review the latest Doctor Who DVDs. So that's sort of how I came up before I became the grumpy bastard I am now. And was a massive fan of New Who up until about series 9. And then the story, you could watch that unfold on my channel. I don't want to depress everybody, but I'm sure people know that I have.
Yeah, go for it. That's still a great channel to watch, dude. So go watch those videos, everyone.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, it's just me complaining, but I am at odds with Doctor Who, or have been the past few years. I no longer consider myself a fan of New Who. I will watch some older episodes for nostalgia, but luckily I can still enjoy the classic series because there's enough distance. Although there was a time when I would watch a new or a classic Who episode every night before going to bed, and it was so consistent that both my dogs at the time actually knew as soon as the theme music started that it was time to go to bed. So I had them trained to the
Nice.
Doctor Who music. But yeah, that's my story.
Excellent. And again, like I said, I cannot tell you all enough how much this man's videos mean to me. I mean, I've just been watching them, I think, since around 2017 or 18, and they're extraordinary, dude. You don't get enough credit on those because they obviously it's fun. I know you've changed from the yelling thing. I love both. Either way is fine, but they're brilliant, and they really just when you watch something that just confirms so much of what you believe and even points out things you didn't even think of in terms of what they were doing to the show at that stage. When I started watching your videos, and again, we're not harping on the negative here, folks. I'm just telling Bullstrick this because I haven't had a chance to tell him before. I was very unhappy with the Moffat era at that point anyway, but to see it's sort of like you never know how good you have it until it really gets horrific. I realized, even though I didn't like any of his writing and I didn't like the way he wrote, such a wonderful actor, Peter Capaldi, I don't like the way he was written for. I didn't like the stories. I didn't know how good I had it at that time because because you know what, you could take a crappy story. It's like if you love Superman or Batman and you're reading their comics and they have lousy issues back when they were still the character, they just weren't written well. You can go, well, eventually then maybe someone good will take over. That's been destroyed where you can't go, well, maybe someone good will take over and we'll get good stories again. That's been ruined. And that happened to comics, by the way, back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of times to different characters. Now it's happened to Doctor Who. So even though I didn't like his era, I did not know. At least I thought it was not irreparable until Chibi proved us wrong there. So your videos get a lot of people through that. And I really appreciate them.
Well, thanks, Clobby. And yeah, I'm glad I can depress everybody to the level of depression that I am.
That's essential work, Bell's Trick. You got to do it. You are the new Joni Mitchell. We don't know what we've got till it's gone. They took Doctor Who Paradise and put up a Chinballs parking lot.
Well, they put it up somewhere.
Yes,
but we will always have the classic series, and yes, the classic series has been finished for 32 years, but we have 26. No, I'm going to say 25. I refuse to accept responsibility or any likeness of season 24. But we have 25 brilliant seasons from the original show that we can enjoy over and over again, and maybe they will uncover more, so we don't have to watch terrible animations.
Yeah, maybe. I hope so, man. I hope so. But at least the animation lets me see a complete story. But I'm with you. I would like to see more. And
Philip Morris is still looking. A nice guy, by the way. I've streamed with him a few times. But yeah, he's still on the hunt. They will never uncover all of them unless somebody at the BBC hoarded everyone that was supposed to be burnt. But I think maybe there's another one or two stories out there. Just the question is finding them before the film completely disintegrates. And your worst case scenario is finding, oh, wow, it's Marco Polo. Open up the case and you smell vinegar. And anybody that knows anything about film, there's this thing called vinegar syndrome, not the awesome US DVD or Blu-ray boutique label. No, that's the good vinegar syndrome. The bad vinegar syndrome means that your film is ruined and unwatchable. So it's if you look at these films, they're the lost stories. They're not pushing 50 years old. They're all over 50 years old now. So it's only a few years left where they'd probably still be viable, depending on where they were stored. So knock on wood, let's hope we find something. But that's my rambling. Oh yes, and I guess I should mention Big Finish, which I have also recently disowned for various woke reasons until they see sense. But up until last year, I was a big fan of Big Finish for 22 years. And regardless of what they've done the past year, which I'm hoping to God, Nicholas Briggs, just please, for the love of God, don't do what you're doing. But until then, it was a great. There's more stories there than there were on both shows combined, but a great secondary Doctor Who. I still listen to those, the early ones, so we have to give props to pre the last 2 years. God damn it, Nicholas Briggs. Big Finish. Where we had 2 decades of brilliant stories. So my Who fandom goes with Big Finish, and we need to start a petition telling Nicholas Briggs to please stop doing, for the love of God, what you're doing, because nobody wants to buy it, and we want it back. And why the hell did you turn the Sixth Doctor into a raging SJW? And that's all I'll say about that.
No, I'm with you absolutely, and I love I haven't listen to any of those new ones, but I used to love Big Finish. And John, I love Sylvester McCoy, man. No one, I don't think I think people may be critical of some of the seasons, but no, I mean, I love him anyway. I don't know if everyone else does, but I'm a big fan of his, and at least some of his episodes. Obviously, no Doctor has every episode perfect, that's for sure. So, but
Tom Baker came close.
You did well, but I can name a couple episodes of his I don't like that probably get me in trouble. Last night, Michael French and I on Retroblast, we were talking about a couple episodes that we liked that we didn't get the memo on that everyone else hated. So we might do that later.
I like that with Image of the Fendal.
Yeah, I hate that one. You like that one?
I'm the only person that likes it, but yes, and it's the only DVD I've lost.
Oh shit!
Well, no, I took it out at some point because I wanted to watch it. Like, my main thing is I'm a DVD and Blu-ray collector. I literally now have 2 rooms filled, or not hoarding, like organized and dusted and displayed. So I took it out at some point. I was going to watch it, and then I was recategorizing things, and somehow it ended up somewhere else, and now I can't find it.
It slipped into a rift in the space-time continuum.
Yeah, all that negative feelings for it sent it away from your collection, but at least you like it. And, to be honest with you, I knew you'd have it there. You big smarty pants. But yes, well, if you need any help locating it, let me know. I might be able to find someone who has a DVD of it around here.
Oh, no, I've got them all ripped.
You got it.
Yeah, it's just the frustration because it's now that hole that's on the DVD shelf. Although I'm slowly, I have been collecting the Blu-rays as they come out. At some point, I'm going to reprint the covers because it's got that logo. Although, because of my spite for the current British, I'll say a bad word, and I won't say a bad word, but something that starts with BS Corporation.
Yes.
I've been buying them used because I don't want to give them money. But oddly enough, it's I think a lot of people are buying them, ripping them, and then selling them because I can get them for probably about 30% off, like the week they come out. So I've been doing it that way. But I am going to get new covers because I want to put them backwards on the shelf with that logo. And now I'm done rambling.
No, thank you so much. Absolutely. And I just realized that we have Canada well represented here. We have across the pond, and I'm the only ugly American here, folks. I'm surrounded. The British are coming and the Canadians are coming, but I love them.
We're all hosers, eh?
We're not Clobby. We're behind the maple curtain here. We can't come and get you, even if we tried.
J-Man, brother.
Hey.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask you to show me that scarf again.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, let me get my camera on.
Yeah, man, I got to, if you don't mind, and that canine, because I want to get your origin now. Look at that, dude.
I got
Nice.
canine.
All this time.
I'm crazy.
I love that canine.
I have every Sonic, every Dalek, every figure up until a certain point that it came out. I bought like all these like specialized things.
Wow.
Every DVD.
Oh, let's see that again. That was good.
Let's see that.
Bring it. Yeah, let's get.
Oh,
That is awesome.
Nice. I
damn.
need
that's
that.
beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's the
goodness.
Cockney Dalek.
Yeah.
Hey, Dalek. That wouldn't be great. It'd be great if they all had Cockney accents.
Where
Exterminate, exterminate.
I don't recognize that flag. What flag was that?
The British are coming. The British are coming.
Well, dude, How did you get started watching Doctor Who? Because remember, we've done some streams together about comics and different stuff like that, and I see all that comic stuff you have back there, and I just found out. I think the other day you told me you were a Who fan, if I'm not mistaken, but we only did a few, streams together. We suffered through our Eternals review together, so I think now we've been through a lot.
Yes.
So we've seen Eternals. We can get through just about anything. So, man, tell me how you got started with Doctor Who.
Okay, so again, TVO Ontario, just like Bulls Trek. That's the big thing here. I'd seen one or
Hail
two.
TVO.
Yes, TVO is awesome. I'd seen like maybe one or two Tom Baker episodes, and I didn't really watch it. Tom Baker to me just was the Doctor in the sense that I didn't know that there was anything but the guy with the scarf and the crazy hair.
Right.
And then decades passed, and I didn't really even think about it. And when Eccleston started, my buddy, who's a massive Doctor Who fan, he'd watched it from like Tom Baker, also Canadian, and he's like, "Oh, you got to watch Doctor Who." I was like, I don't know. And then he showed me the first episode. I thought, wow, this is really good. And then he started to tell me about it, and I thought, oh my God, what season is this? And I'm like, I can't do it because I can't watch from a certain point. I have to start from the beginning. And he's like, you're never going to be able to do that. And I thought, well. Then I guess Doctor Who's not for me. So then my wife, who I introduced to Star Trek and all that other stuff, one night I was away and she was watching something and she's like, have you heard of this Doctor Who thing? I was like, yeah, for sure. And she'd watched a David Tennant episode, the one with the Ood. And I'm like, yeah, Doctor Who, I know it. And she's like, well, it's really good. I was like, okay. I said, well, let's check it out. So I said, you know what the hell? Let me check out a completely random episode on YouTube. And it was the 6th Doctor with the Cybermen. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I love the 6th Doctor. But anyway, I'm like, this is really awesome. And I thought, okay, well, let me see. Let me look at, on Amazon and see what's available. And I told you this, Clobby. So my company closed and I got let go because they just shut down. And I got about $30,000 severance package.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? Let's try Doctor Who. So we ordered the Christopher Eccleston season 1. I was like, yeah. So I was like, let me order season 1. So we watched season 1 of Eccleston. I was like, oh man, this is the damn best. And I'm like, that's it. and Clobby knows this. You guys might not know. I'm a bit psychotic. I literally went on Amazon and bought everything. Like I'm talking, I now own every DVD and Blu-ray I'm upgrading of everything that's ever come out. Yes, I'm part of the problem, including the new stuff.
You're part of the problem.
I'm part of the problem. I have to have it all. So I'm crazy. I literally bought everything. I spent like $5,000 on Amazon and I bought every single thing there was. And we started from John Pertwee and watched all of it.
Nice.
And the reason I started from Pertwee was that at that time, he was the only one where everything had been out. Like from Pertwee and on, everything had been out. Except for the 2 Doctors, which for some reason was very difficult to find. I still actually don't even have the 2 Doctors.
Oh, wow. Weird.
I don't know why that's so hard to find. But anyways, so we watched it all. And so I wasn't growing up with it. I literally watched it in time to catch up. So I caught up to Matt Smith's first episode. So Matt Smith is where I started watching weekly brand new Who. So in that hiatus between David Tennant and Matt Smith, I had acquired and watched everything from Pertwee and on. And then in between that, we went back to Patrick Troughton and William Hartnell and watched all of that stuff as well. So to date, I've seen it all. And then I didn't stop there because now I'm just in. And I'm like, I bought every figure that you could possibly get that was out there. Like it's like literally everything, like every version of every Doctor. Like I went crazy, and my shelves are crazy. I couldn't put it all, so I had to start packing it away. And then I didn't stop there.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. I got personalized autograph from Tom Baker. We got David Tennant, and then I met the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 11th, 12th Doctors. I got Barbara's autograph, Ian's autograph, Ace, Amy, Joe Grant, Michelle Gomez, Jack Harkness, even that Sontaran guy, Dan Starkey, who was that silly Sontaran character. Like I was like, I must go to everything. And
wow, man.
Yeah, so that's kind of my story. So I'm a bit crazy, and if I get into something, I must have everything. I can't not have a thing. So, yeah.
Amazing, dude. Hey, Stephanie, enjoy the film. She's just about to walk into Ghostbusters, and it did open today.
Yeah.
Here,
Oh, I'm
anyway.
seeing that in about. I'm seeing that probably in like 90 minutes or so. So I'll.
Cool.
I won't stay too much longer, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Ghostbusters. So we'll see.
Oh, there you go. Paulie saw it last night, and then again, this opening today, and in certain, I guess some countries not quite yet, but so there you go. And some countries it's already open. So good luck, everyone, on that one. Guard that optimism. Is all I'm saying. Watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, but yeah, no, I hope it's great. We'll probably watch it either today or tomorrow. I'll go take a look at it. Well, today I got to go seek out that popcorn, Ecto 1 popcorn container thingy for Mark. So yeah, let's see here. Yes, if she goes, yeah, if you're at an AMC there, Stephanie, grab that Ecto 1 popcorn container for $35 and sell it on eBay tomorrow for $200. Just saying. Someone will. I want to see tomorrow how much the thing's on eBay for. So I'm going to do everything I can to get Mark D with a C one of those. We're on it, brother. I know he's hearing me out there. Oh, she's at Regal. Sorry. Oh well. We'll get one. So now last night when I was talking to Michael, we talked basically about favorite episodes. We did our top 10 and all that stuff, and it was brutal. When I first talked to him, Michael from Retro Blasting, and I said, you want to do a top 25? He said, he said it'd be easy. Maybe we just decided to do 10. It would be easier. 10's brutal. 10's ridiculous. And we learned that the hard way because we're like, oh my God, I can't. What about this one? What about that? Don't ever make a top 10, folks, if you want to read them off or something, because you can go. It's just not. If you love the show, just how do you choose? Yeah, do you love your number 3 much more than you love your number 13? I don't know. One of those burning questions. So it was tough, but we did it. So, but I'm going to put everybody on the spot and ask. We're going to do ask them a favorite episode, and anyone that doesn't have one's going to get to the agony booth. I'm going to ask for your agonizer.
Send me
Your
straight there.
agonizer, please. Yes, especially Ash. But let's see, Cockney, do you have a favorite episode? If you don't pick one, I may have to commit violence on you. That's not fair. It wasn't made all the way. All the way, anyway. I'm just
2/3 made.
Hang on a minute.
That's true. You're right, Formally. It was Bolshevik. You're right. It was good too. I love it.
What kind of violence?
I don't know. I meant call you dirty names or something. Nothing serious.
All right, you're on.
And there's the one I have, the old. But you're right, Bolshevik. In fact, I kind of like the way when they finally finished it up.
I think I'd put that at least in my top 15.
It's a great story.
Now, I have to confess, I've not finished with this episode, but I'm watching it now, so I'm making it my favourite episode. It's got the best doctor, the best assistant, even the best assistant called Romana. I said it.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
I don't know. We're gonna have to. Do we allow it, folks? If you're not finished, I don't know. If you haven't finished an episode yet, we may have to disqualify you from the favorite episode.
Well, it's like saying I haven't finished my girlfriend yet, but she's still my favorite. You know what I'm saying? Look,
fair enough. I'll allow that.
I'll throw
fairly
the screwdriver. Come on.
Oh, there you go.
Can't say better than that. I'll throw in the screwdriver. So you got the shader. So you got the Doctor Who. You got the lovely assistant. I'll throw in the TARDIS. But
Douglas
wait,
Adams.
You get this handsome, written by Douglas Adams. Barbara Menthol recommended, and this handsome sonic screwdriver. And if you phone now and accept my answer, also a free bag of jelly babies.
I want me some. I haven't had those in years. I want Jello babies. You're in. You're now accepted. You got it. Bolshevik about Shada. One where Retro was showing that VHS from the old linked Shada. From Shada from like the 90s, wasn't it, Bolster? Retro?
It was 1993. Actually, I have the North American version somewhere in a box in the basement.
Yes, yeah, and it was that's pretty spotty. But still,
actually, to be honest, I've watched that one so many times.
Really?
I almost prefer that version.
Okay.
As I know, they also they redid the score when they redid the Blu-ray. Although I think the original one is still on there as well. I've got both versions. But no, it's for nostalgia. I actually love that version. So it's what we'll call it nostalgic bias.
I got you. No, it was but I think, but for some reason when I watched it, when they added to it or whatever, like last time, a while back, how many years ago when they finished, well, not quote, I don't want to use the word finish. I don't know what you would call it, but
but it is Tom Baker doing the links.
Yes.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
1993, still very young and energetic. Well, actually, he's still energetic. Tom Baker.
Well, for some reason, that one when they fixed, I don't know what you want to call it, restored it or added someone. That last version they did with where they added in a bunch of stuff, that gave me even more of a sense of how spectacular that story would have been if it had been completely.
It would have been. It would have been considered one of his best stories, if not his best story.
Yes,
which sucks. And so yeah, thank you BBC for going on strike.
Yes,
and J&T couldn't reuse it because he completely changed the format of the show. So by the time Baker's 7th season rolled around, because Shot had largely been done in the previous style, it wouldn't have even fit.
Right. But what a great story, though. So that's a good. I'm glad you showed that one, Cotton. That's a great one. Listen. So, Bolstrek, do you have a favorite episode of Doctor Who? Putting you on the spot there, brother.
The Deadly Assassin.
Love it. That made my top 10.
The only no companion story in the entire original run. Yeah. Also, when I really started to get into Doctor Who when I was around 10, even though I'd been watching it, it was around 10 that my obsession started. It actually started with that episode. Because it was at that point, PBS Detroit had started showing Doctor Who Saturday evenings at 11:30, and so they were doing one of their marathons. Right. And the episode that so my dad's like, "Oh, I'll tape this for my son," so he taped it, and I watched it. I watched it over and over again. I'm like, to this day, I love that story.
Yeah, I love it too. I had it when we did our list last night, and it made my number like 6 in my top 10 there. And I love it. You know who didn't like that story, though?
I know lots of people don't like it. Well, it is a ripoff of, well, not really ripoff, but it's a very absurdist Manchurian Candidate, and I love it.
I love it. But you know who didn't like it was Mary Whitehouse.
Oh, she hated everything.
Yeah.
She famously bitched about that one.
We need Mary Whitehouse back now to go after, because I'm sure there's lots of stuff going on in the current insert blank that she would not approve of. So somebody find a new Mary Whitehouse for the love of God.
Poor old Mary would not appreciate that. That's for sure. But I've seen in one of the.
Have you seen the she does an interview where she's just ripping apart Doctor Who, and she's talking about that, and you can see the look of disgust on her face, and they end this one episode with the Doctor drowning. And she's just like just these rabid dog eyes. I'm like, oh, you really hate this show.
Yeah, so she was pissed because it left you with it was a cliffhanger from part, I think, 3 to 4, maybe.
Or to quote her, and the children were left with that in their mind's eye for an entire week. I'm like, Mary needed a hobby. Mary was not a happy lady.
She was nutty, but God bless her. She was a little bit nutty.
Actually, I just want to call her, at the risk of triggering at Bolstrek. Big Finish also did a shot on. Oh no, I'm not triggered by the first 20 years of Big Finish. I like the first 20 years of Big Finish. I have that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did do that. But I love Deadly Assassin. That's a great one, not only because of, as you mentioned, the first companionless or the only companionless story in the original 26-year run, but just we saw a little bit of Gallifrey in the War Games. And
one thing that I think needs to be mentioned is a certain major film series directly ripped it off, including the name.
Yes,
I will let you all try and figure out which series that was. It may have something to do with matrices.
I think a couple of brothers who are now sisters made it. But
there is no spoon. Yeah.
Not only is it pretty much the same concept, but they use the name.
And that's what I was talking about that last night with Michael. I said, do you think the Wachowski siblings watched Doctor Who? I think they did.
There's no way that wasn't at least inspired or plagiarized. Although I do like the first Matrix film. I think everything after that is a pile of ass. But Just admit it, dudes or
Well,
dudettes. Yeah.
They actually stole the Matrix from Grant Morrison's Invisibles comic. Is what it's a real absolute ripoff from, and Morrison's not happy about it. Not though he is, but yes.
When did that comic come out? I've never even heard of it.
It was in the mid '90s.
Okay, good. So Doctor Who didn't rip something off because you would have
they ripped
crushed
off
my dreams.
Well, Morrison was, again, he ripped off a lot of stuff from Doctor Who. So some of his comics, some of his Doom Patrol.
So they ripped off a ripoff.
They ripped off a ripoff, absolutely. But Morrison was not happy. But he's a jerk. So he's a jerk off. Yes, Lord Thoth, brother.
Jerk off.
Yes. What is your favorite episode, LT? I have Doctor Who, and I better approve.
Well, I kind of have two. So I have the modern Doctor Who stuff that I love too.
Man. I'm just
and I have the classic Doctor Who. But my like I already mentioned it actually in my little dissertation at the very beginning when we were talking about my memories, and I still have to go back to Pyramids of Mars because it's I know that it's 4 kind of separate episodes, but there's a 1-hour version that I watched a long time ago that I kind of remember more. I've seen them since, obviously, because it's my favorite, but being as how I'm a great Canadian Egyptian god, I love the whole Egyptian mythos being pushed into a Doctor Who episode and having it be the first episode that I've ever seen. It kind of adds to that. Sutek or Set or whatever was part of that. You had mummies running around. You had the Doctor dying, but not really dying. And you had Sarah Jane, who's always been my favorite companion. I think more so for just nostalgic reasons, although I do have several that are second, third, and fourth are tied right up there in the top 5. I have, and the funny thing is, all 5 of my favorite companions are classic Doctor Who companions. None of the modern ones have really even. I'd have a hard time fitting any in the top 10 actually, but I love the ending. I love the stress, the horror element of it. It's such a great episode, well written. I really miss the well-written classic episodes because they really had to make up for the lack of special effects. It's why I love Blake 7 so much. It's because the stories are just so amazing.
Avon lives.
Oh yeah, Avon lives. That's right. And it's such an interesting story because of the not just the Doctor and because Sutek comes from the powerful race, of aliens like the Osirans.
Yes.
And that he was imprisoned by his brother, and so there's a whole bunch of Egyptian roots there that I love. Seeing the sarcophagus too, and it being a portal to another a space-time dimensional situation where they can travel for distances that way, and it's just there were so many elements in it that was so impressionable to a young mind that I always go back to this episode. There's a lot of in probably the 4th, 5th, and 6th Doctors. There's some amazing stories, but that one's always my favorite.
Well, I love it. I absolutely love it. It made my number 2 spot last night. So, and it's always just wonderful. The banter between the Doctor and Sarah, and especially now, it's always great. I mean, I love at the beginning that morbid sort of speech he makes, where I'm not a human being. I'm a Time Lord. I walk in eternity and all that kind of stuff. And he says, yes, I'm not a number. He says that actually now. Yeah. I'm like something like 750 years old. He says his age, chibi boy. And then, she's wearing the dress that Victoria wore, all that kind of stuff. And it just, what a great episode. Michael Sheard in that one, by the way. We talked about it last night. That guy's been in everything.
I've always
70s, go ahead with your favorite episode.
Oh, my all-time favorite episode has got to be Genesis of the Daleks.
Love it.
And it's not just a great Doctor Who, and it is to me the pinnacle of Doctor Who. It's great science fiction. The writing is phenomenal. The central conundrum, the moral conundrum, is such. I mean, given this is supposedly a sort of family/kids show in a way, it was certainly pitched that way in the first few years. The deep moral conundrum at the core of that story, has anyone got the right to destroy another species just because they don't like the way they're going to turn out. And the way that Tom Baker portrays that, the genuine angst in his demeanor when he doesn't know whether to go ahead and destroy the Daleks or not, it's fantastic. I mean, you won't get better science fiction than that. The writing is phenomenal. So I'll always go back to that one. And, you know, even though my favourite Doctor, I guess, is John Pertwee, that's my favourite story. I think my second favourite is The Green Death. I've always loved that one. Especially as you see Joe Grant leaving the Doctor at the end, and John Pertwee driving away in the Whomobile, very sadly silhouetted against the hills. I've always loved that episode too. So just
admit it, 70s. You like seeing Pertwee in drag?
Well, absolutely, and who wouldn't? Yeah, yes, and I'm sure he did it many times.
70s with that. I know I'm going there with the time travel, but for me that's the fascinating thing. It's not just the moral question of going back; it's also the idea that if he goes back, it might change other things. The ramification of the timeline, allies that have been made might not have been made if it wasn't for the time.
That's right. That's right. He does say that. He says, "Look at all the good that came out of being in opposition to the Daleks." So,
right. That's absolutely right.
He's thinking of the big picture, the universal big picture, not just well, these guys are evil. We could kill them right now. Well, but what about all the negative impact that may come of that? Yes, there may be good comes of it, but it could be even worse. So he's thinking of and that's where you know he's not human.
Right, because 70s, if you went back and destroyed The Last Jedi, then you, me, Clobby, and all of us here might never have met.
That's right.
Yes, but we'd be willing to make the sacrifice, I bet you.
That one I think we can get away with, yeah.
I'm willing to. I'd miss you guys. Well, I wouldn't know it, would I? But
that's right.
Man,
but I like the fact that you see the Doctor as it was mentioned. Was it Thoth was saying that he's not human, and you very much know it in those episodes and in stories like that. You know he's not human. He's a Time Lord. They trying to humanize him too much would be wrong, and it's always wrong.
Right. Yeah.
He isn't human. And I love it when he says that himself. Well, I'm not human. You know, I like humans. I love them. In fact, I love Earth, but he's not human. I like that.
He says that in Pyramids of Mars. He drives that point home in that very much so as well. So yeah, I love it, man. Well, great one.
And I want to pay tribute to Yvette in the chat who mentioned the Ark in Space, which again is
great one.
Classic science fiction, brilliantly executed on a low budget by the BBC. They were putting a bit more money in by then, and there was a great arc of Tom Baker stories around that time. So arc, haha, pun intended. But,
Arc. You said arc. J-Man, buddy. Arc. What is your favorite episode of Doctor Who?
Oh my God, this is like impossible. But like I was making notes.
That's why I did it to you. I wanted to put you on the spot.
Yeah. Genesis is awesome. I was gonna say Ark in Space, but now that's kind of been mentioned. I'm gonna say Robots of Death.
Nice.
The thing, like, I don't know. Leela was sick in that. She's like trying to protect the Doctor, and like she's like, stand behind me, I'll take care of it. She's got her knife and all that. That's pretty cool. The robots look awesome, man. Like that's like one of the first figures I bought.
Creepy robots, boy.
Yeah, they're so neat. I love green. That's my favorite color, so that was cool too. But like, just like the world that created was kind of neat. And I even did a little bit of research where like that sort of world that was created there, like kind of spun off into its own little.
It did.
Yeah.
Chris Belcher, who created that. He wrote that episode. Also wrote a lot of great Blake 7 episodes. He even tied them in a Doctor Who novel based on the Fourth Doctor called Corpse Marker, where he took an episode from a character from an episode of Blake 7 and put him in there.
So, yeah, I've got to watch Blake 7. I have that now, so I'm definitely gonna watch that. But yeah, I don't know. Something about that episode was so cool to me, and the robots were creepy and people were dying. I don't know. It just seemed like there's a little bit more sinister things going on, like where most Doctor Who, you're like, well, everything's going to be okay, you know, obviously, and everything is always going to be okay. But this one just felt like, oh man, like these robots are like bastards. Like, what are you going to do? I thought, yeah, that was good. I mean, Genesis, for the same reasons, is awesome. Ark in Space was the one I was going to go to first, but yeah, I think Robots of Death. Pertwee's my favorite. Like, I literally think Pertwee, Baker, and even to an extent Davison, I actually really genuinely like all of those stories. I can't really put my finger on one that I don't like. So I guess if the gun's to my head, I'll say Robots of Death just to give that a little bit of extra love.
Well, it's a great one, man. There's so many great Tom Baker ones. I mean, again, it's tough. The tough one is finding one that you really don't like, and you can find even your favorite show, something episodes you don't like. But that's the tough one with the Baker episodes. Let's see here, Ash.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite episode of Doctor Who? And
send me to the agony booth because I don't have one. I don't have a specific favorite.
Oh, that's okay.
But I have favorites, but also favorite episode moments. So
that's
like
good.
So when it comes to like favorite episodes, I'd say ones that like affect me mainly, like Blink, the very first episode of Eccleston's era. I think it was just called Rose. With the Autons, the episode where Rose gets trapped in the other universe, that broke me. I'm still upset to this day. And like just little things like there was an episode in Tennant's era where they were in a school and these aliens were putting like special intelligence fluid on the kids.
Reunion. It was a wonderful.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I think that was with Sarah Jane as well.
That's why I love it so much.
Yeah, the kids was super smart because of the chips or fries, as you guys call them.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and they're in the classroom, and then the doctor's asking the kids the one kid all these questions, and he answers them, and the whole class is like, "What the fuck is this kid on?" And it was just so funny. And like even Jodie's era, there was one moment in one of the episodes where I did watch, and I think it was one where one of the companions got turned into a Cyberman, and they're on the spaceship, and I liked it. But when it comes to Jodie's era, I like the episodes not because of their Doctor Who content, but because of other stuff. And that specific episode, it's one of the best visualizations of gravitational time dilation I've seen on a TV show. It's
gravitational time dilation, my favorite.
Yeah. So, and because of that physics aspect, I really like that episode. But everything Doctor Who about it, I just forgot, and it's not memorable. But
that's okay. There's nothing Doctor Who about it, so you're good.
Well, I mean, the companion was turned into a doctor into a Cyberman. So
I got
that was amazing. But anyway,
I can't remember that now. But go ahead.
But like there were like other little things, like little moments with Captain Jack or Sarah Jane again when she came back in, or Sarah Jane Adventures. Like when I first started watching Sarah Jane Adventures, I thought that was a completely separate spin-off show. I had no idea who Sarah Jane was before then. I had no idea she used to be a companion. And then until the TARDIS came in, K9 came in later on, and I just loved that show. And then you could definitely tell there's a little something going on there between her and the Doctor. Like there's a bit of chemistry there, and it was great. So it's more so like memorable moments than an all-time favorite.
Well, excellent, buddy. Absolutely. And after retro, I want to get your favorite. After we do that, I'm gonna throw one more question in everyone, then we'll get you to show some pictures if you'd be so kind. But do you have a favorite episode?
Again, for me, it's really difficult because for me, Tom Baker is my favorite Doctor, obviously, and so my favorites are obviously from his period, and it's so difficult. I mean, you guys have already mentioned, but for me, it's going to be either the Brain of Mobius,
nice,
Pyramids of Mars, or Genesis of the Daleks. So they are where I'm going to go. But for me, it's going to have to be Genesis of the Daleks for me.
First one I ever saw.
Yeah,
I had that set. Love it.
It's one of my
Collins'
all-time
favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
That is my all-time favorites. Probably again, then followed by Pyramids of Mars.
Love it. Well, I guess I'm the only one that picks this as his favorite. I have Pyramids of Mars at my number 2. We did our list last night. Michael French and I from Retro Blasting did our list last night. We talked about Doctor Who for 3 hours last night. My number 1 is Caves of Androzani. It's my all-time favorite episode. And again, I love Tom Baker. Really, he's my favorite Doctor, of course. Yeah. But I do love Davison, and I think he doesn't get enough credit.
That is a brilliant episode, though. The Caves of Androzani. It is fantastic.
It's so un-Doctor Who. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Peter Davison, right?
Yeah, it's very last episode.
Yeah.
I had him sign my copy. That was the copy I took for him to sign. That was the one I chose.
Nice guy. I met him a couple of times. He's a nice guy.
And Perry. I love Perry.
Well, love Perry.
Yeah.
I think everybody loves Perry.
Yeah.
You talk about big, Bolster. You talk about Big Finish, and I'm a big fan of some of those too. That was one of the things I always thought was kind of weird. It was still fun. Don't get me wrong, but between Planet of Fire and Caves of Androzani, they slipped a bunch of adventures in there so that Fifth Doctor be with Perry.
Oh, they slipped years in there. There are entire companions in there.
Right, that's crazy, huh? I always wondered about that. It's still good. I'm not knocking it, by the way. But go ahead.
It is stretching it a little bit. Well, a lot, especially with Colin Baker and Mel. Between you literally have like half a century worth of stuff that apparently happens there. But yeah, I try not. You try not to read too much into it because there are some brilliant, literally years worth of stories that take place in between those two episodes. So I think Big Finish did have to be a little bit creative with the time frame, and at one point we learned that Perry is the Doctor's companion for like 12 years up to that point.
Wow.
So it is what it is. Some things you can't read too deeply into.
Yeah, and it's still fun.
But yes, there is a lot jammed in, like literally years in between those two stories.
Yes, yeah, and that's not a knock. I've listened to some really fun, stories for those, with Peter Davison and Nicola Bryant, which are terrific. So, but yeah, it was kind of. There's no leeway between if you watch them just as episodes, but she even mentions her first things when they land on Androzani Minor was, well, that's a nice change from lava, with reference to the mud. Which was a reference back to Planet of Fire. Of course, you never know. You could just say they went somewhere else with lava. What can you do?
Yeah, I just take it as, and this goes with probably any fiction. There's some things that you decide not to read too deeply into. So I've just it's never really bothered me that much. So I just take it as sort of as it is.
No, I got you. Just there's something I always thought was amusing. But so I'll starting with you here on this next question. And no one ever really talks about this that much. So I've always found it kind of. Do you have? I'm going to go intro outro, and what I mean by this is each Doctor has an intro episode, almost all of them. And each Doctor has an outro episode, and some are better than others. I think there's some that are really great, and then some not so great. Do you have a favorite intro and outro of a Doctor? And I'm going to go around for everyone with that. But Bolstrek, do you have one? Maybe you don't, but if you do,
no, I definitely have a favorite outro, which is Caves of Androzani, which is probably my second favorite Doctor Who episode of all time. Although I think even though I prefer Deadly Assassin, I think Androzani is the best Doctor Who story ever made, period, in any format. Like it just blew me away the first time I saw it. And if that's the quality they were going with Peter Davison, it's too bad we didn't get one more season.
Yes.
I could say which are the worst first episodes, which would be the 6th and 7th. interchangeably. Twin Dilemma and Time in the Ronnie are two of the worst stories in Doctor Who history, and it's Twin Dilemma might be worse because somehow it followed right after Caves of Androzani in the same season. Favorite first story? Oh damn. Well, Hartnell didn't have one. We've only seen innovations of Troughton. I like Pertwee. This is a tough one.
I want to get everybody with one tough one. So,
damn. I will actually. I might have to go New Who for this one. I'd say probably David Tennant because of the way it was structured. Even though I have a love-hate, more hate relationship with New Who at present, I think the way David Tennant's first episode was structured was absolutely brilliant, where he's only in the final third. But you see he spends most of the episode asleep or delirious. But you see this crisis building up throughout the episode, and it's like, we're screwed. There is no doctor. And you see it's dire. There's no way out. And then out of nowhere, you see David Tennant just spring out of the TARDIS.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Like that second he was the doctor, and his issues that I have, David Tennant was a brilliant doctor. So I think I'd have to go with Christmas Invasion.
That's a great choice.
I'm wondering if anybody here is going to go with Time in the Ronnie or Twin Dilemma. I don't know. Everybody has a.
How did you know my choice? No, to be honest with you, I never really hated Time in the Ronnie that much. And Twin Dilemma, I think Colin Baker's over the top performance makes it kind of a fun episode to watch.
Well, there was a point with that too.
Yeah.
He was it's kind of got hijacked, but the Sixth Doctor was supposed to have a similar journey as the Eighth Doctor, and both of them got completely botched.
Yes.
The Eighth Doctor, instead of changing over time, he was just a completely different character for each series. But Colin Baker had originally wanted to beat Tom Baker's record for playing the Doctor. So Colin Baker had planned to do 8 seasons, which would have had him being the Doctor until the early 90s. I think like 93, 94, something like that.
Yes.
So his idea was his Doctor was going to be one that was going to evolve over time. So he was going to start as this somewhat violent, annoying jerk, and then mellow over time, which is what we saw his journey on Big Finish. When he came into Big Finish, he was actually playing the Doctor as he would have played it at the end of his run, which he did perfectly well for 20 years. Then he became a raging SJW, and there's actually one Big Finish. You're just sidetracking for a second, but it's kind of funny. There is one Big Finish release, the Lovecraft Invasion, where he says the R word, which has so many times in that episode you could actually make a drinking game out of it, and you would be dead. So we're going to pretend that 2020 Colin Baker and on doesn't exist.
Yes.
But Colin Baker prior to the current disaster is how he was supposed to play it. So a lot of people hate Colin Baker, but when I watch those stories, I look at what they were trying to do with the character and what they were never able to do, because he did 2 series in 1 episode. So definitely didn't do his 8 years. So that's that is my my latest spiel.
And I'll say about Colin that I'm absolutely totally agree with you. I think that even in some of his, which was most of them had flawed stories, his performance was really excellent in spite of his outfit and all that stuff and things like that. But I thought he is great as the Doc. It's a shame. I mean, I like
season 23. I like the fact that
too.
Like JNT actually he deserves credit because he actually, unlike the current regime, he actually did completely changed the show several times. He started with the scientification, which was late Colin Baker, Peter Davison. Then he tried turning it into a more adult-oriented show, which makes sense because the show was over 2 decades old and a lot of its early fans were older. That's why season 23 is really violent. And then he did the misstep of turning it into an absurdist science fiction show with Time in the Ronnie. Season 24. Which was a disaster, and then he handed control over to Andrew Cartmel, and then we got the Cartmel master plan, which I think is brilliant. And I'm going to stop rambling.
No, you know, I appreciate that. And I was just gonna say that I like some of those stories, but he never had anything that like really set the world on fire as far as stories. Meaning Colin, but I really liked him. And as my good buddy, good to see you, brother Ace Cast on. I love when the master referred to when he was referring to the doctor in Mark of the Running. You can't miss him. He's mean looking. Wears a vulgarly colored coat. I love that. But yes, good to see you, brother. My favorite intro was the 11th hour. I mean, I thought that was a beautiful, wonderful episode. And again, as much as I love Matt Smith, I don't think he ever got close to that level. Again, as an episode, just for me personally, I thought it was magical and wonderful and crazy. I do love that one. And outros is easily Caves of Androzani. But I want to ask my buddy J-Man if he has a favorite intro outro.
Oh boy, I'm gonna get beat up. It's Twin Dilemma. When you
Oh, you're kidding. You're kidding.
No, I'm not. I'm actually not kidding, which is hilarious because as soon as you ask the question, I have a notepad here that I'm taking notes on as we do it. And as soon as you ask the question, the first one I wrote was Twin Dilemma, and I thought, I wonder if everyone's gonna beat me up on this.
No.
And then right away, I'm like, oh, that's a crap episode. Oh, it's so fun. Okay, first of all, Colin Baker's a genius. He's insane. He tries to kill his companion. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not. Like I was just like, what is happening? This is so crazy.
It was crazy.
I loved it. I was like, he's so cool. He's the first doctor I met. I love the outfit. I think it's bonkers. It's just something about his performance. I love, Vengeance on Varos. I think that's a legit good episode of his. But
post-regeneration trauma.
I mean, I don't know. I just think it's just because he was so different from Peter Davison that it was like this was kind of like, I guess what they were going for. And as Bowles said that, yeah, they were supposed to, eventually, peel the layers off and he'd be, your more, nicer doctor. But I love the crazy doctor. He's mean to everybody. He's like, yeah, I'm the doctor. Who are you losers? And I'm thinking, yeah, like, you are the doctor. So,
I do like that episode. I'm one of the few that likes it. I'm glad someone else does. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just crazy that I was like, yeah, Twin Dilemma. I don't know. My wife and I both agree. We're like, oh, that was really fun. And then, yeah, his stories weren't always as good. But I think for the last episode, it's between Caves, but I think I'm going to say End of Time with David Tennant. I mean, I don't know. That entire last thing with David Tennant was awesome.
Unpopular opinion. I hate that episode.
Oh, really?
Time.
Oh,
we'll talk
wow.
about it one day. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Stole my one.
Yeah, sorry. Look, I cried on that episode. I don't care.
Yeah.
Listen, I cried. That if you can get me to cry, that's pretty damn good. I literally judged it by that.
Fair enough, brother.
Seriously, even thinking about it now, I'm gonna cry. That's when my camera's off.
Right, yeah. Don't turn the camera on if you cry.
No, don't turn on. But Caves of Androzani is a legit fantastic episode of just science fiction television in general. But for just for the doctor, for my personal thing, I don't know. That End of Time was just so good for me. But those are my two.
Gotcha. Lord Thoth, favorite intro outros?
Well, this has been pretty easy because you guys already stole all mine. But the caves, that brings a tear to my eye because of what he did. It's how I live my life, sacrificing for others. And so when you sacrifice for Perry, who didn't even really know, it was kind of this relationship that really shows you who the doctor really is, no pun intended. And why he lives his life, and that's to help others, and just that ultimate sacrifice is just, I love that. I hate the David Tennant episode, but I must admit that some of the best Who acting of all time was done in that episode with End
of Time.
With the End of Time. I agree with you that episode just, I cringe every time I think about that, but I think it's also because of the emotion involved in David Tennant and the ride that we took with him, because some of the best Who I know the best Who of the current era is David Tennant stuff. So that was challenging, but the acting that involves there really, really escalated him on the echelons of great British actors just in that last 15 minutes. Let's see. So that's that was outro, right? So intro.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you just can't beat David Tennant's intro either. I look back at all the other ones, especially the classic Who ones, and I don't really think until, I would have to say, after Peter Davison did they really take the regeneration really seriously, like that outro for Peter Davison and the intro. It's amazing how much that Colin Baker kind of sold that too, and that those two actors in those two episodes together were great. So I love that. I will say that the worst intro and outro of all time was the 12th Doctor's exit and the 13th Doctor's intro, because I absolutely detest that episode, and I absolutely think that Peter Capaldi was underserved by the writing staff in his era. I think he was a throwback to classic Doctors. I think he really reminded me of a lot of Pertwee, a lot of Trout, and a lot of Baker and Davison, especially the older actors. Like Hartnell, not so much, because I only have limited exposure to him. I've seen the episodes that he's been in, but it's tough with so much missing. But I think that really, I was really disappointed he was leaving, and all the backdoor politics and stuff going on, and so there is such a bad taste in my mouth from that outro and intro that is by far the worst of all time.
I'm absolutely with you on that one. Cockney, favorite intro, outro, or if you have, if you don't have, it's no problem. But do you have any a favorite beginning of a Doctor and an end of a Doctor?
I'm going to go for a fairly obvious choice: the transition from Baker to Davidson. It's the end, but the moment has been prepared for. That was quite nice. Although it's just a small detail. Did you know when Davidson came in, he was a couple of buttons undone on the shirt? Do you think that's sexy? That's not sexy. What's he doing?
That's not sexy at all. It's like a dog to scrub.
Exactly. But that was nice, smooth transition. I thought, no drama.
That was a good one. And I love Logopoulos. And I love, underrated, I think, is Castrovalva. I really enjoyed that episode. Especially one of the first couple of parts with, one of the fun things, and the reason why I brought up the Doctor's first appearance is that, yes, J-Man, that was a Beverly Hills Cop reference. Copy and I just exchanged.
I had to do it.
Yeah, well done. I think it's really entertaining in Castrovalva watching, and it's always, the first episode of any doc is always a lot of fun to watch the Doctor go a little crazy, to watch that actor, because it's really by the next episode that he settles in. So the craziness of an introductory episode can be a lot of fun, and they all just going nuts and getting, you're seeing the new guy for the first time. And Castrovalva is great for that. I love, I think Peter Davison really gives a terrific performance, just settling into his new doctorness. What a tall order. You're coming in after Tom Baker. People don't really, in the States, Doctor Who was just getting huge. It was becoming a phenomenon because of Tom Baker. And when Peter Davison came in, I saw so many people going, oh, no, I'm never watching this again. Who's that? That's Tristan. Because we did know All Creatures Great and Small. I'm not watching that. He's not Tom Baker. And I was like, well, I don't know. Give him a shot. I couldn't wait to see what the new guy was going to do. And I'm the one that gets accused of hating change all the time. But I couldn't wait. And I love when we get a new Doctor to see what that next, when it used to actually happen for good. So I think Castrovalva is a great one to mention. I love that one as well. And 70s, do you have a favorite intro, outro?
Oh, I do. And this is an easy one for me. It's got to be the not twin dilemma. Twin impact of it's Pertwee to Baker, Planet of the Spiders.
Love it.
Extremely strong story to finish on. Extremely strong, extremely creepy. Yeah. Fantastic acting by John Pertwee. Also was the last regular Mike Yates appearance, and I was big into Unit as a fan. And then to go from that to Robot, which as an opener is again a fantastically strong story, brilliantly acted by Baker. He's off the wall. Yeah, there you go. A nuts performance by him. When he hasn't really figured out he's the Doctor at first. Doesn't really know who anybody is, where he is. But by the end of it, he's got a grip, and you cannot get, it's peak Doctor Who for me. I was 11, 12 years old, was absolutely in love with the show and devastated that Pertwee was leaving, and then we got this magnificent story in the 12th season with this crazy new guy who I had never seen before, Tom Baker. Never seen him in anything. I know he'd been Rasputin, but that was well beyond my cinema-going experience at the time. And yeah, just love those two. And the great send-off, a great introduction.
Well, excellent. And we've been here a while because there's so many questions I could ask, but it takes. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. So what we'll do, I guess, is we'll have a little show and tell. Anyone who has anything to show of Doctor Who merch, like retro, no, he's been waiting.
Who me?
Cool
Who
stuff.
me?
So
Yeah.
whilst Retro's doing that, I'm going to go for, a 3-hour sabbatical and just what? No, I'm just kidding. He's got all that stuff. He's got so much stuff.
I guess, J-Man, you have to scoot, bud?
I do have to get going, yes, but it's been an awesome time hanging out with you. I feel very privileged that I'm with this great panel talking about something that I love, and it was just awesome hanging out.
Well, dude, thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate you, man. And
It was great having you, man. That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So appreciate it. Now let's get together. Yeah, we got to get together soon. Something to stream about, man. Whatever it was, whatever it is. I mean, whatever you want to review next or whatever, because it's been too long, man. We survived the Eternals review. We could survive anything.
Yes. Well, yeah, we'll figure out something. I'll message you and we'll work something out.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for joining us.
So
J-Man, everyone, link to his channel in my
Dude.
description below.
Awesome.
Please go to his amazing channel. He's a great guy.
Nice one, dude.
Appreciate you,
Awesome.
brother.
Hey, buddy.
Guys.
Okay, mate.
Cool.
See ya.
Yeah,
Catch you next time.
indeed. J-Man, the man. Well, let's see here. You ready, Retro, to regale
Dude,
us?
I have got so much stuff.
This is going to be good.
Sure you do. I mean, we always say.
Right, hang on, guys.
Go
Just
for it,
bear with
brother.
me. I am gonna. You'll hear me shuffle. I'll probably fall over a few boxes. Just bear with me. I'll be back in a minute. Hang on.
Get your popcorn, put your feet up.
Oh, wait a minute. Ash, go ahead and
Yes.
give us your favorite intro out there. I'm sorry I missed your
It's okay.
Before I got to you. Oh, that's
It's
right.
okay.
You picked the wrong episodes and I ignored you. Kidding. I really did forget. I'm sorry, brother. Go for it while you get
You
that
look
ready.
Jody. You're out of here. No.
Yeah, oh, you did mention Jody. There's a penalty for that. But,
Yeah. Okay.
You
I mean,
said
not
the
that I-
J word.
yeah, not that I know who that is, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Favorite outro would be Tennant's exit. That hit like anything, like right at the very end, where through his tenure, you get really attached to him. You get a feel for who he is as a doctor, and his relationship with companions and other characters and stuff. And then it's like he says his goodbyes at the very end, and then I think he's on his own in the TARDIS, and the last thing he says is "I don't want to go," and he looks like he's start crying.
Yes.
He's gonna start crying, and then he regenerates. There's the dramatic music, and oh my god, that is the phenomenal exit. And the intro is the one of who Tennant regenerates into, Matt Smith's Doctor. I loved that episode because you've got the TARDIS crashing, it lands on Amy Pond's shed, and he gets out. The TARDIS is smoking, and it's like he's trying to figure out who he is as a person. Like new taste buds, you got new fashion style. He's like later on in the episode, he's trying on different outfits and clothes. He gets the fez on. He's like, fezzes are cool, and then that starts the fez craze. And then he's trying the different foods with him. He's with Amy Pond, and she's the girl at the time, and he's trying out different foods, and then he ends up liking fish fingers and custard. That was just so funny. I remember saying to my parents, "Can I have that? I want fish fingers and custard." And that was just brilliant. And then Matt Smith's. I think the first couple of seasons of Matt Smith was great. I really enjoyed that. And then those intros and outros, I loved those. Is excellent for me personally.
Yeah, I love Matt's opening. And as much as I love Tennant, I won't go into the reasons why I hate the end of time here, but most people love it. So there you go. And he was terrific. So there's no taking that away from him. It's just but one day we're going to do a show called Unpopular Opinions. It's something I do a lot. but actually make a show of it. And in this case, it'll be like unpopular opinions about Doctor Who or Star Trek or whatever.
I can't say I'm very happy about that idea.
That's not a popular opinion at all.
I disagree. How dare you? 10 pages immediately.
I knew that wouldn't be a popular idea. Damn it. Let's see here. All right, are you ready? Retro.
Oh, here we go.
Well, first of all, I
Look
just
at
want
that
to
scarf, man. You got to show us the scarf first. Dude, what's wrong with you?
Dude,
Batman with a scarf. All right, I'm going to see the damn scarf, brother. Go for it. All right. Nice.
there you go.
I love it.
And knitted by me mum.
Lovely.
Only dude in the world still has his
That's
VHS
grand.
tapes. Only guy who still has his VHS Doctor Who's except for
Yeah.
me.
Well, like I
I
said,
had loads of those.
I'm going to be completely biased, as if you couldn't tell. My first story,
I love
brilliant
it.
entrance, Tom Baker, Robot, because
So
that
good.
is what I saw as a little kid, and that for me, that was it. You know, I was hooked, and of course, it had a giant freaking robot in it. So
Freaking robot.
you know what I mean. And of course,
Yes, sir.
this for me, each time I watch this, I just crack up and break down because that for me, that was for me the end of Baker's run, and that just like
I love Anthony Ainley.
just like
End
each
of an
time
era.
I see
That
each time I see that.
That reminds me of the old novels too. The covers from the old novels.
Yeah, the old Target.
I wish I'd kept
And
all
of
my
course-
VHS.
That's right.
The Watcher. Who was that guy?
It was the Watcher. It was the Doctor all the time, and I love the see with Anthony Ainley when he shrunk the Doctor in the torch. At last, Doctor, I've cut you down to size.
Yes.
Oh,
So
damn.
here we and of course, here's my second favorite
Take that out
Doctor.
of the box.
No,
That is
can't
beautiful.
afford to. I wish I had the money. I wish I had the money to buy 2 of these things, but no. This, But there you go.
Little snowmen.
I know. One day I will have my cabinet with these in. That's if the missus will let me. But there you go. So yeah,
you gotta enjoy it. You can't take it with
Just
you.
leave her, buddy. Just leave
I
her.
know.
Leave her.
Get divorced. It's easier. Get out of the way.
What
God,
comes
man,
first?
get your-
My Doctor Who toys or my wife?
Get your priorities straight, man, for God's sake.
Clear off, love. I'm moving it.
Either
wow.
the Doctor Who toys go or I do. Bye, dear.
Yeah.
Foxy bye.
That's right, yeah. See ya.
Oops, hang on,
She might take half of your Doctor Who toys though if she goes. That's the problem.
Hang on, dude. Let me get you back up there.
You put that Tom Baker down.
Yeah.
I
She
love
knew
it.
what she knew what these were worth. I'll be out the door.
I love the silver. Silver Nemesis. Love that
There
one.
you go. And,
Season 25.
Yeah.
The anniversary
There
season. That's beautiful.
he is.
Oh my man! Wow.
That is
Love it.
beautiful too. The war
I remember
games.
when I bought the War Games on the big double VHS
Oh yeah.
set and
Still
watched
got
them
them.
all one Saturday, all 10
Yeah.
parts.
Still got him. Still got him.
Brilliant.
There you go.
That's
Absolutely
fantastic.
fantastic. Yeah, that's brilliant. And here's another one. How about that? There you go.
Welcome, Raymond, by the way. Oh, that's fantastic, dude. From Shada. There you go.
Hey,
Yeah,
Cloudy, how you doing?
Good
Yeah.
to see you, man. Thank you. That is beautiful, dude. Man, I only have one of those, and that's because Michael gave it to me. And it's I have the Monster of Peladon one with the Doctor in that cool green jacket.
And there he is.
Oh wow! One you mentioned earlier, Cottony, the Visitation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow, those are great toys, man.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Gosh, you have so many nice toys.
He does.
Where's
Need to
Section
get them.
Dildo when you need them, eh?
Need to get them on display.
That's the one I have. Michael, my buddy Michael sent me that one. Retro Classic.
Ah,
I
great.
love it. That's beautiful. Now I can't get the electronic thingy to work, but I don't know. Maybe you have to put batteries on.
Yeah. Now, do you want me to carry on? Because I got plenty
You
more.
can do a little bit more. I mean, what you got, man. Yeah.
Bear with me. Bear with me while I disappear to the back of the room.
Oh, okay. Well, just bring some back. We have some other pictures. Didn't you send me some other pictures?
Yeah, if you Disaster Area, our good friend in the chat, he's got some custom figures because that's his speciality, and I believe he's probably actually sent you some there.
I think he did.
Yeah.
Well, I love the word speciality.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, he's amazing.
let me find that picture he sent me there. Where are you at? Where are you at? Oh, there we go. Wow. Okay. Good. Doctor Who toys. Now, where are those from? My goodness. Hang on. Man. You loud, Retro.
Sorry, dude.
No, times. He's with you. That's fine, buddy. Just kidding with you, brother. You're good. Let's see here. All right. Yay. Let's see. We have some cool toys here. All right. I don't have any info on where these are from or which toy line it's from. All I can tell you is that there are Daleks, and then there are some weird dudes with weird things on their heads.
Definitely sentient dildos in there somewhere.
Yes.
It had to be.
Yeah. Wow. What the hell is that? Again, I don't know what they're. I don't have no context for which sets they're from or anything like that, gents. But that's nice. Oh, although that's yeah, I know what that's from. Those are customs, probably, or something from what is that episode that Rose? It was Rose and Mickey, right after school reunion. The one with the I don't know. It's a different one. It looks like Amy Pond there. I can't figure it out. Oh, look, that's from Remembrance of the Daleks.
The special weapons Dalek.
Yeah, special weapons Dalek. That's Remembrance of the Daleks right there for sure.
That's nice. Look at the ship on the back as well. That is so cool.
Ask Disaster, are these customs or what?
Was it Night Terrors?
Oh my God,
Bessie! He's got Bessie.
Night Terrors, I think, Clobby. Night Terrors.
Night Terrors. Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So cool.
Yes. Okay. Cool. That's it, dude. I'm stealing this one from you.
Look at the
and stealing it.
Oh, that is awesome.
Wow.
I remember.
That's beautiful.
Dude, that is awesome. That's wonderful, mate. Serious.
Oh, all customs, he says. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, bro. Whoa. Bessie. Yes, because they have not done a Bessie toy. Is that correct?
Nope. Can't get it. Nope.
Well, Jesus, dude, that's I can't stop. That's
beautiful.
Let's see the front of that one. Who won? It's got Who won on it. Just making sure. What do we have here? M&M's Daleks?
Rainbow Daleks.
The Rainbow Daleks?
The Rainbow Daleks, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. The
Who-mobile.
Oh! I love it. Planet of the Spiders. I love Planet of the Spiders. Wow, that's fantastic, man.
Wow.
That is so cool.
So cool.
Love it. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Man. The Zarbi and the I forget the other names of these guys. Beautiful though. That's so cool, man. Very good, very good. All right, let's see here. I've never seen any of these customs before like this one because I wouldn't, would I? They're custom.
Oh wow.
Oh man. Wow. There you go.
Oh, brilliant.
Very cool. That's from the Talons of Wing Chang.
Yeah.
Like the Talons of Wing Chang, shred your flesh. Yes. I love that episode. Oh wow, that's so cool.
God, brilliant. Oh, look at the console.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. All right. Oh, look, yep.
Nice.
Oh, great.
That's Alpha Centauri or whatever from the Curse of Peladon and the Master and the Monster of Peladon.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yep. Oh my, that's beautiful.
Brilliant.
Wow,
Brilliant.
Dude, these are amazing, man. A burning Dalek.
Wow.
Is that from? Oh man, is it Planet of the Dalek? Maybe not.
Disaster. These are absolutely wonderful, mate. Serious. These are wonderful.
Yeah, almost a couple more here. Wow, Sea Devils and Silurians. I love it.
Wow.
And more Sea Devils. That is just thank you so much for that disaster area. It was cool to see those. Buddy.
That one needs the master in it too. That would be great. If there was a mod of the master.
Yes, I love that episode, by the way. Roger Delgado was fantastic.
Oh, he was brilliant. Yeah.
That was one of my top episodes that was on my list last night. I talked about Terror of the Autons.
Oh, great episode.
Was just fabulous. Yes. So thank you for that. Thank you for that big time there, disaster area. Great stuff. Hello there, Sherry. The lovely Sherry is here. Good to see you.
There we go.
I'm having trouble. StreamYards is being nutty right now. Oh, okay. More from Retro.
Yeah, more merch. There you go.
Don't worry, everyone. We'll wind it up in a second. We just wanted to show some toys and everything. So.
Yeah. Chapel the wings.
Claws of Access. Love it.
Unit.
5 rows rapid.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's fantastic, man.
Nice.
Now, this is the one I did hear you mention you were talking about on the stream, your mate. And of course, like Sarah Jane. Bad costume for Sarah Jane, but nice one for Mary Tam on Lala Ward there. Yes.
The Mary Tam one's from Pirate Planet, probably.
Yeah. Nice costume. Yeah.
So many episodes don't get mentioned because there's just only so much time. Pirate Planet by Douglas Adams is one of the greatest episodes. What you got there? Oh, what's that? Oh, wow. Access Strike Squad Dalek. Huh. Weird. And he never even fought the Daleks in that outfit. Cool.
Here's another little favourite of mine. Here's the 4th Doctor.
Oh.
And there's the actual console.
Nice.
Console.
I wish they'd do that mahogany console room from
that
he had during those last couple of or during the beginning of the Leela era, I should say. Deadly Assassin on.
He's an 8th Doctor one.
Oh, nice.
With the Dalek.
Cool. Wow. Shame. What a shame. Much like similar to Capaldi, he got kind of a raw deal because I really hated the Fox pilot, to be honest with you.
Would love to have seen him come in.
Could have done with more of him, yeah.
Nice.
That's very cool.
Where's the big red button?
Yeah. Where is the big red button?
Where's the moment?
Yeah, the movements. But that's cool, man. Love it.
There you go. Well, there you go. Like I said, I've got tons more, but I'll probably keep you there all night.
That's cool, then. Well, I'm glad you showed us some stuff, and we really appreciate Disaster Area showing us that stuff.
That was
badass,
cool,
man.
Thanks, Disaster. That was absolutely brilliant, dude.
Kudos to you, sir. Well, before we get going, we have Raymond popped in with us. Raymond, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, not too much. Had a pretty fun stream last night.
Cool.
It was a chill stream. We just had people on. I had Orville Nation came on.
Nice. Okay. Excellent. Well,
lovely Renier came on, and we just had a really fun 2-hour stream.
Well, that's great, buddy. That's great, man. Well, are you? I don't even. I know because you're a regular of the Global Geek Game, but I don't even know if you're a Doctor Who fan or not. We've never really talked about it. So.
I'm a Baker fan.
I
grew up with Baker on PBS, and then
there we go. Cotton
and then the new Doctor.
Hey, there you go. Keep going
my guy.
Okay, fair enough. A lot of people like those too.
I'm a Baker fan too.
That's fantastic. Damn it, man! I want that one. That is nice.
That's cool.
Nice. Beautiful, dude. Love it.
Where is the Doctor? Where is the Doctor?
You're supposed to be the supreme rated.
I am not a plumber. This is not a plumbing detachment. I am not a robot. There is a creature inside me waiting for a hug. I am not a robot. I am a cyborg. You will learn the difference. Where is the Doctor? Chill, guy.
Good.
Hey, let's just be friends.
I'm right here, and I'm going to destroy you all your times. You're supposed to be the supreme race of the universe. Let's see you climb this ladder. From that
Ladders
from,
are not acceptable. No, ladders or stairs. Where is the
I will
lift? Where is the
exterminate
lift?
ladders. Exterminate all ladders.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, you know what, everyone? I want to thank everyone for being here for this Doctor Who roundtable. It has been a pleasure to have all my friends and so many friends who love Doctor Who. I don't know how many. Let's see. Oh, there's someone was here. Device not connected. Says they will need to connect their microphone. It says TARDIS Zone. I think it says they will need to connect their microphone, the mic and cam before you can add them. I think no. There you are. Oh, well, we have a friend popping in. No.
Dude. Hey.
TARDIS Zone. TARDIS Talks. What's up, dude?
Dude.
Sorry for being late.
That's
Who's
all right,
this
man.
person?
You popped in. Bowles Trek says, who is this person? I don't know. Who are you? What's up, buddy?
Oh, not too bad. How are you all?
All right, how you feeling?
Good, good.
Feel awful, but I'm alright. I'm good.
Oh,
Sorry
man.
about the delay. Fashionably late as usual.
That's all right. We were I was closing it up, but now that you're here, I want to talk a little bit about Doctor Who with you a little bit. I mean, or because I think you need some talking about the stuff that you love, the aspect of Doctor Who that you love, right? I mean, don't we all?
That's it. What? Forget about Flux.
Oh, I take it you did enjoy the brilliance that occurred last Saturday or Sunday.
Actually, I didn't. Look. I know you don't like it. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I'm comparing it to what we've gotten the last couple of years off him, and it's better than that he's given us. But yeah, I enjoyed some elements, not all of it. I think people are getting confused. They think because I like some elements that I love it. No, I only like some elements of it. There's a story in there that he's trying to tell.
See, you guys need to know I have decided to cancel Noel because he decided he likes certain aspects of it. we can't be friends anymore, so I've gone after him on the Twitters.
Yes.
And I've revived the hashtag cancel Noel. So how dare you invite that traitor here?
Well, it's good to see you, Noel. I'm glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you, Noel.
How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. Look. As John Bishop said, right? John Bishop actually put something out that was very interesting. That actually made me sit up and take notice. He said, "I know the story's all over the place, but it all comes together." And I was like, right, okay, why are you all of a sudden coming out and saying that the story is all over the place? Should you not have said that from the beginning when you were doing your interviews? Like, now you're coming out and saying it's all up. We all know it's all over the place. But you're saying it's going to come all together. I'm looking at it now, and I'm saying, how the hell is he going to pull this off? Like, how the hell? He's got so many threads right in there,
right,
mixed up all together, that he has 3 episodes now to try put all of that together, and I don't think he can.
Oh, I hear you. The 70s, by the way, that's
hell of a
fun, everyone.
payoff.
Just going to drop out, but
Goodbye,
thanks,
everybody.
Clobby.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Clobby, for having me, and thanks
Thank you.
everybody for being
Take
such
care,
a great
dude.
panel.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you, bro.
see you
Later,
all soon.
Kamloops.
Take care,
Yeah,
my friend.
And thanks everybody in the
Take care,
chat.
buddy.
Take care. See you guys.
All right, buddy.
Later, buddy.
Thank you. Continue, Noel.
And I gotta ask, Noel, when did you get the plague? You sounded fine the last time we were talking. Now you sound like death warmed over. What happened, dude?
You okay?
No, I haven't been. I had a rough morning. I just haven't been sleeping well. I've been twisting and turning all night and
Oh man,
and stuff. It's just one of those. It just happens. And then because I couldn't sleep, I woke up to the earlier this morning, and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I stayed up for a while, which I shouldn't have. I should have went back to bed and tried to get back to sleep, but I didn't. And yeah, I just got up about 15 minutes ago, and it's 9:30 in the evening. So
that's okay, dude. This is how we know we're getting old, because you need naps.
Yes.
Anybody remember the days when you know, like in our 20s? Yeah, well, no, when he could be up for 3 days straight and be perfectly fine and live off caffeine. If I don't go to bed on time, I'm falling on my
That's
keyboard
me
next
now.
day.
So everything I've got coming up is not. I've got not to look forward to. Then got it.
That's correct.
Yes.
That would be
See,
right.
you said
I'll
you're
also
22.
I'll just also add that I can remember 40 years ago like it was yesterday, but I can't remember what I had for lunch. That's
Yep.
another
That's
sign
okay. Yeah,
that shit.
the
That is-
short-term
happens as well.
short-term memory goes to crap. But yeah, dude, you're trust me, 22, it's all great. As soon as you hit 30, then everything just stops working and breaking.
That's it. Once you don't pee
Oh,
yourself and poo yourself, you're fine.
And then eventually you end up sounding like Noel does today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not very good.
No, Harry. Well, dude, get some rest, man, and feel better. But yeah, anything you had to say about Doctor Who in terms of, because we're doing kind of a love fest here for it.
Oh yeah, well,
Various things. What do you
obviously,
love?
yeah.
You can give us your Doctor Who origin. We were asking everyone that.
Right. Well, the very first story that I seen as a kid was Pyramids of Mars.
Oh.
My dad was a Doctor Who fan, actually. Now he's never watched New Who, but he introduced me to. He was the one that introduced me to Doctor Who, Star Trek, and obviously when Next Generation came out, he was a fan of that as well. So he introduced me to that. But Pyramids of Mars was my very first story, and I had a fascination with Egypt anyway as a kid, and seeing this story to me was mesmerizing. Tom Baker, don't think anybody, I think Peter Capaldi's probably come the closest, but Tom Baker is definitely the definitive Doctor. But I just loved everything about that story except one part. Sarah Jane, obviously years later when I was an adult, and I was watching all the interviews, and you know, it's very interesting when you buy the DVDs of these episodes because you get to see all the interviews. And Tom in particular actually wasn't pleased that Sarah Jane's character actually had Elizabeth Slade's character Sarah Jane was using a shotgun because it was totally out of character, and he actually came to blows with the director of the story because he thought this was out of character for her. Yeah, so I buy the classic DVD. I buy the DVDs because I do love watching the interviews because they don't hold back. They don't hold back in the interviews. Very interesting to see that even though there was trouble backstage, as they say, or in production, they still managed to produce a quality show. We can't say the same today. There might be problems behind the production team today, this current era, but they can't seem to get it right. But they did back then. You could show that they had love for the show, even though they were at loggerheads with each other. You know, they tried. Everybody was fighting their own little corner because they wanted it the best that it could be. It's a pity they don't think in those terms today, but there you go. Pyramids of Mars for me was my first story. Then, of course, then after that, then you know, we had a station called UK TV Gold here. That they had in the UK that showed a lot of the reruns then as I was getting a little bit older, so I got to watch most of the stuff on UK TV Gold before I started buying the DVDs. So yeah, I became instantly hooked like a lot of people. It doesn't matter what story it was you were introduced to, you're instantly hooked. You're a new fan now and you're watching today's version, you won't become a fan. Because that isn't, no matter what I say about this particular season or series, it's not Doctor Who. It's became a completely different animal.
In name only. In name only.
In name only, that's it. But, you know, RTD's coming back, hopefully. I'm more optimistic than Ballstreck is, to be honest, about RTD's return.
Wait. I'm not optimistic.
Well,
no,
I'm not saying you're not optimistic, but you're.
No. I'm known as Nelly the Negative Nelly. That's my thing.
I'm
yes,
positive about it because you know when it came back in 2005, that was a reboot, and he did it very successfully. And I actually think I have a funny feeling that he's back to reboot it a second time, actually.
And just to be clear, yeah, Noel and I have agreed to disagree on our. But I have said if I'm wrong, and actually I do hope, I really hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That this era it stops the I'll call it the silliness that we've had the past few years. Although I can think of several other words.
Yes.
And I hope the show's back to form. This is my outlook on life, although I'm sure anybody that's watched my videos can probably tell. I am a glass is half empty and somebody has pissed in the glass type of person. So,
and the glass has got a crack in it as well, probably.
Oh yeah, the glass has got a crack in it, and I've spilled it on myself. So and Noel will probably attest to this, but I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I will stop yammering again, and I will give it back to the traitor. I mean, sorry, Noel.
Oh, you got it's on, baby.
I love you, buddy.
Man, Noel's not feeling good. You're gonna pile on him, man. I see how you are.
It's good. I'm used to it. It's grand.
Yeah, Noel, it's interesting that you mentioned periods of Mars. You'd be surprised how many times that's come up today when talking. Yeah. That's just such a great episode. We've all, I mean, almost everyone has at one point or other has mentioned it. It's like my number 2 all-time favorite, and it's that's a great one and a great choice and a great first one to watch. So it's funny how so many, when you ask someone which first one you saw, which one you liked, you remember most, some of them just always rise to the top in people's memories and love as favorite episodes and stuff, and that is just a phenomenal one. So
that was the one. That was the first one I watched. Now, if you're asking me what my favorite all-time classic Who episode is or story is, it's obviously Genesis. Inferno would come in second place, but Genesis of the Daleks, I think, is one of the best stories ever written. Watching that as a teenager or as a kid, that was a scary episode. Oh, lovely.
Nice.
But I love Genesis. Genesis is great. I love Pertwee's Inferno as well. I think, look, Tom Baker is the definitive, but Pertwee's season or Pertwee's seasons weren't bad either. I think he was a great Doctor as well. It's just because we had Tom Baker. Tom Baker will always lead the list, him and David Tennant, but I'd put Pertwee in there as well because I think Pertwee was a very good Doctor. I like the fact that he was earthbound, but that's how you do an earthbound Doctor, do it properly. Chibnall has tried to do that, and he hasn't been able to pull it off, to be quite honest. Because obviously the Doctor's female now. I'm only messing. But no, in fairness though, he's tried to do that and he can't. I don't think he understands. He's a fan. This is what annoys me about Chibnall. He's supposed to be a fan. He seems to me he doesn't understand who the Doctor is. We do as fans, but him as a writer, showrunner, and supposedly a fan hasn't got a clue who the Doctor is, and that baffles me. It actually baffles me, to be quite honest with you, because I don't think anybody here on this panel would do what he did. You know, you don't. There's one thing you don't do in Doctor Who, especially with its canon. You don't explore the Doctor's origins. Nobody as a fan wants that. It's called Doctor Who. It's not called Doctor We Know Who. And that's what he's trying to do.
Good point.
He's trying to explore the origins of the Doctor, but no fan wants that. It was like when Star Trek fans or Star Wars fans were, you know, when George Lucas started exploring the origins of Darth Vader. Yeah, we knew that he was Luke Skywalker's father, but did we really need to see how he became Darth Vader? I don't think so, you know. I think things like that should be left alone. It was the same with the Alien franchise when Ridley Scott started messing around with that, started exploring the origins of the xenomorph. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. People want that mystery. You take that mystery away, what else have you got? You don't have very much to work with then. So I think RTD is coming back for a reboot, to be quite honest with you, because, you know, what Chibnall's done, you know, there's no recovering from this because you've decided to explore the Time Lord's origins and the Doctor's origins, and it's not going to. Well, fans don't want that. They want that mystery. So I think he's going to come back and reboot the whole thing.
If you think it is a reboot, what kind of like viewpoint do you think they'll go from? Do you think they'll start it again from first with Generation, or do you think they'll do like the first reboot where it's just the next number Doctor?
I think he'll just do Dr. 14, but I think what will happen is he'll probably ignore what's happened, or Chibnall is going to put this in the bubble universe. So see, it'll all depend on what Chibnall does. There's rumor that he is going to put this in the bubble universe, or he's going to retcon the Timeless Child, but not in the way that we think he's going to retcon it, was the rumor. I don't know what that means, to be quite honest, but it will have to be ignored, because if you talk to fans out there, the big sticking point for a lot of fans is the Timeless Child, this origin story that he's doing. And if it's not retconned, a lot of fans have said they're not going to return. Now, that's already reflected in the ratings for this series already, even though this is an improvement on the last 2 seasons that he has given us, the last 2 series that he's given us. It's fans have walked away. They're done after the Timeless Child was revealed. A lot of fans back then said they were done with Doctor Who, and that has turned out to be the case for this series. You could see that they're turning off. I think since it started, Doctor Who Flux now, it's lost over 1 million viewers just this season alone.
For me, the worst thing he did was make the Doctor female, not the Timeless Child, but the Timeless Children, whatever. That whole thing has got to be the second worst thing that he's done to Doctor.
Well, if you look at what he did, people say, they've ruined the Star Wars franchise, they've ruined the Star Trek franchise. Okay, fair enough. He's have a point to a certain extent. Star Wars can be repaired, in my opinion, and so can Star Trek, right? Because they can. Doctor Who is different because you're messing around with the main character and the Time Lord. Basically, you're messing with the foundation of the show.
Yeah,
it's 50 years of canon.
Doctor Who is in a worse position than the other 2 that I've mentioned.
Yeah, because
you are messing with the foundations. So when you do something like that, there's only 2 options. You either retcon what's happened, right? And RTD is not going to do that, by the way, because that wouldn't go down well. So it's up to Chibnall to do it himself. Or the second option is new showrunner comes in and he just forgets it, just ignores it. Like a lot of fans have ignored the TV movie of Doctor Who. You just ignore the half-human thing. Do you remember when he said the Doctor was happy? We've ignored that we've ignored that for decades now. So if RTD comes in, reboot it, that way then you're not disrespecting what came before, basically. That will keep the fans of this era happy, right? And then us fans then, right, if you ignore it, then there'll be a possibility then you can win fans back. And RTD for me is the goal anyway when it comes to Doctor Who writing. His era is called the golden era of New Who, and it's not called that by accident. You go back and watch his 4 seasons. It's some of the best Doctor Who that we had gotten since the 80s was pretty bad, let's be honest. But it was great Doctor Who. It kept you at the edge of your seat each week. You were dying to see what happened. Not with this, not with the current series. What baffles me again is, and I'll stop now after this comment, is the fact that Chris Chibnall is a fan, and we're all fans. Would we, as fans on the panel, explore the origins of the Doctor? I don't think so. I don't think we'd go near that because we know that would be quite damaging to the show, and that's what annoys me.
Yeah, agreed.
Why would he do something like that? Is he doing it out of spite? Because sometimes it feels like he is with certain lines that he puts in certain episodes, like as if he's having a dig at long-term fans. So I don't know what his game is. I don't know why he thought he was the man to come in and do this. There's like an arrogance, and I don't like that. So you never know. Look, we've got 3 episodes of this to go. Then we got the specials, and then officially then RTD takes over. It'll be very interesting to see what he does, because he has the big job now on his hands. The AI, for the first time in the history of the show, has gone down to the 70s, mid 70s now. We're on 75 with the AI. Doctor Who has always been over 80 when it comes to the AI. Now, if you look at the 7-day consolidated figures, they're down. If you look at the overnights, they're down. And if you look at the +4 screen, they're down. And the AI is down. This show is actually hitting rock bottom. It doesn't matter what he does. I said this, even if Chris Chibnall had to produce something amazing this season, right? Say he surprised us all and gave us something that would be Oscar worthy, writing, acting, the whole lot. It's too late. It's too late. Fans have made up their mind. They want him gone, which he is gone now, but they've already made up their mind. Damage is done as far as they're concerned, and RTD has now a hard job. Not only does he have to do what he's going to do, but he has to try win fans back. Can he do that?
Nope. I think it's impossible.
Some people think it's impossible, which is fair enough.
I think it will take a long time, but I think he could do it.
There was also a long gap between what happened in '89 to when we got New Who. There was a whole generation. Yeah, and so that's the thing. If there was a 10-year gap here, I would say it's a very distinct possibility you could bring it back. But what you've done is you've lost the classic Who fans, and now you're going to burn all your current Who fans. So it's going to be really, really challenging to come in there with a new Doctor and a new story. And even if you forget the past, we won't forget the past, and that's going to be
because it's so recent. It's so recent, and that's why, you know, I do. While I am optimistic, I still have that little niggling feeling that he won't be able to do this. For the simple fact is, there's not a long enough of a gap between the two eras, and you know, as Tim said there, it could possibly take a few years for him to build back the audience again. Which by that time, which will be sad, because if he produces because he was great when he came back, when he brought the show back in 2005, and he's writing as some of the best writing, and it would be a shame if he repeated that success again, let's just say, and the writing was spectacular and there was nobody watching. That would be fair on him. It'd be Chibnall's fault, but I wouldn't blame fans, and I don't blame fans. You know, I might be excited about it. Ballstreck is a bit more. He wants to be proven wrong, but at the same time, I don't blame him. He's had 5 years of this.
I'm a negative Nelly Noel.
Not a fan. 5 years being told he's not a fan. He's sexist. He's racist. He's a bigot. We've all gotten that, right? We've been told that this show's not our show anymore, and we're not fans. So I don't blame those fans that are like saying, "Well, why should I come back and give it another chance? I've been told it's not for me, so why should I come back?"
I think Ash actually had a good point there. Ash, I think you had a good point. I think what he's going to have to do is kind of what Star Trek The Next Generation did. Is the first 2 seasons were awful, but I think that what he has to do is he has to write some amazing seasons. So he has to cast the next group of Whovians, so you're gonna have to have a great Doctor, you're gonna have to have great companions, you're gonna have to have well cast, great actors, you're gonna have to have great writing, and you're gonna have to do a season or 2 of great Doctor Who, because I know that there will be a lot of people who are gonna tune in for the first few episodes especially, and they're gonna check it out. So he's gonna get a big bump in viewership, and then if he sticks the landing and he does a really great first season where everybody's like going, wow, that's the Who we remember from Eccleston and Tennant years, then I think what he'll do is season 2, you'll see an uptick again, and a lot of those fans will be hearing this word of mouth that it's great Who, and they may come back. Now they've lost a lot of the great fans out there. Like every single person on this panel, all we talked about was classic Who, so that tells you something, right? So I think a lot of those fans will kind of come back and check it out. But he has to stick the landing, and this has to be the best Who yet. That's the only way.
I think the first few episodes are going to have high numbers anyway, because his name carries weight because of what he's already done with the show. So people will come back for curiosity's sake to see if anything has changed. but it will really be able to tell if it's any merit with looking at the season as a whole and the following season compared to it, and the subsequent numbers after all the episodes, whether the numbers stay level, go up, go down, who knows. But I do think we'll see a good couple 100,000 viewers at least for the first episode. I don't know what the current numbers are now. I know that they're bad, but we're going to see a good few 100,000 viewers for the first episode at least. It's not going to be anywhere near the height of like back in the the heydays.
I don't think so, and I agree with you there. He'd be lucky now, RTD, with the damage that's being done. If he can manage 8 to 9 million viewers in overnights, that's a success as far as I'm concerned, because of what's happened. Now, originally when he came back, he was getting 12 million in overnights. That's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
Another thing as well, I'll mention very briefly, I think this show, like the Marvel Universe, in my opinion, I think it's burnt out. I think we've had 16 years of New Who, isn't it? 16 years altogether, something like that. So this show's been going for a long time, and I think it's burnt out. I think it is burnt out, to be quite honest with you. I do think it needs a break, but they're not going to give it a break. They want to keep Doctor Who going. But personally speaking, I think it should go on a break for about 2 years. It doesn't even have to be a long hiatus. Yeah. You put it on hiatus for about 2 years, then RTD was the start. I think then you could possibly get some fans to come back. Just wants just that little bit of a break between the two eras, that the recent one that's on now, the one that's on now, and give it a 2-year break, and then RTD do his stuff. But that's not going to happen, and I think that will be a bit of an Achilles heel for RTD there. We'll have to see. Look, he is a terrific writer. You know, I hope he can bring the audience in, but he's gonna have a hard job. His casting of his Doctor is going to be very important. Then obviously the companion, and then obviously when we get to see what he says in interviews, and then we get to see his first trailer. I think his first trailer will be quite telling, because RTD does, if you remember back in 2005, and Bolstrek will remember this as well, his trailers and his teasers are absolutely amazing. I mean, the hunt for Rose was unbelievable. That episode was bad. Rose
that brought me back to Who.
Great episode.
Those trailers, yeah.
But those trailers were brilliant.
Oh no, I've told you the story of how I experienced that trailer. The now classic "Do You Want to Come With Me" trailer. Like my height for Doctor Who was about as high as it had ever been for anything at that point. And we're seeing a movie at the local theater, well, Silver City as it is here. Actually, we have Canadians here, so they'll know what I'm talking about. So I was seeing a movie. I think it was The Boogeyman, just a not very good movie starring the dude that used to be on Seventh Heaven, not the creepy guy, the young guy. But it came up on the big screen, and just first time I'd seen it because it had debuted that day, and I was going to see it when I got home, and just like sent shivers down my spine. Yeah. And I swear to God, I watched that trailer over and over again. I showed it to everybody I knew. So yeah, that's I think that's one of the best trailers in history.
Well, just to give you some context, in 2005, before that trailer dropped, I was in a very bad state. I'd lost my apartment. The girlfriend I was with had walked out on me because I'd lost my job, all of that other stuff. And I was really, really mentally, I was at a low point. So much so that I didn't want to be here anymore. And let's just say when I saw that trailer basically, and I'm not being over dramatic here, I've mentioned this story on my channel several times. If it hadn't been for that trailer, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys today. So I owe RTD a lot, because if I hadn't seen that trailer accidentally, by the way, I knew it was coming back, but I hadn't seen that. I but I'd seen that trailer accidentally in someone's house, and if I hadn't have seen that trailer, I wouldn't be here talking to you. So I owe RTD a lot. That's why when the current era began, I decided to set up a YouTube channel and talk about this, because, you know, I was so annoyed at what Chris Chibnall was doing. I felt like I had to say something, and, you know, I owed the show, because RTD did save me life. He did. When that trailer was released, as I said, I wouldn't be here talking to you now, and I'm very grateful for that. And that's why I will always, you know, people say, oh, you know, oh, you're not a fan, you're always giving out, blah, blah, blah. I am a fan. I love this. I don't think people realize how much I love this show. As I said, this show saved me life, so I'll defend it, and I will come out and say what's wrong with it, because I'm that passionate about it. I just want the best version of Doctor Who that we can get. And right now, I'm not getting that. And it breaks me heart. Really does. Timeless Child. I think people have seen me stream. It's infamous now. At the start of that stream, when that reveal happened, I was literally okay for the first few minutes of that stream. And then when I start talking about what he done, I broke down on my stream. I was absolutely inconsolable. I couldn't understand why someone would do that. In a 40-second scene, right? This is why I think that Chris Chibnall is worse than anybody else out there. And I know people have problems with JJ and they have problems with Kurtzman and all this, but in a 40-second scene, he destroyed a whole show. 40 seconds is all it took. That Timeless Child scene where Tectoyum is killing that child over and over again, right? That's how he destroyed the show in 40 seconds. So he is the Thanos of fandom, of TV show. He destroyed it in 40 seconds. I was absolutely devastated. And I still am. I still have never recovered from that. And I don't think I ever will unless it's retconned. Personally, it was a travesty. Should never have happened. And BBC should never allowed it to happen. But their hands were tied because they're the ones that brought him in. You know, and they did say to him at the start, well, you can do whatever you want with it. But little did they know that he was going to do this. As soon as they had any inkling that he was going to do something like this, someone should have stepped in. And that's what pisses me off. Nobody did step in and tell him, hey, you can't do that. You know? And they just allowed him to do whatever he wanted. Sure, the fact that he came out in his first interview and he said, well, I only took the job because I told him I wanted to do it my way and because I wanted to cast a woman. As soon as he came out with those conditions, someone at BBC should have said, sorry, Chris, but no, thank you. See you later. We'll get someone else. That's what they should have done, but they didn't, because there was nobody else out there that would take the job. And he was the only one that was available, so they went with him, and the rest is history.
Well, it is indeed. I want to thank everyone for hanging with us tonight. I have to end fairly abruptly because I got kind of an emergency situation going on with my parents. I got to go take care of and stuff, which is usually around this time anyway. But man, I tell you what, I'm so honored to have all of you here and so thankful to have all of you here talking about some Doctor Who. And of course, those who hung with us, yes, absolutely. I want to say thank you, Noel. I hope you feel better, brother. I know you were feeling under the weather there, man. Please go get some rest. Feel better. Everyone,
of course, now.
There are links.
I'm up to fucking 6 in the morning or something now. This is the ridiculous thing about it.
Yeah, well, I got you. I hear you there. Well, I just appreciate you coming in. And of course, Noel's and all the other channels here, of course, are in my description below, everyone. Please go check them all out. I want to thank you, Noel. I want to thank you, Bulls Trek, formerly Bulls Trek. I'm a big fan, man. Like I said, I really appreciate it and really loved your new video.
Oh,
thank you so much.
It was awesome to be here. And we must do this again. Well, I guess we've streamed together, 3 times in the past week?
Yes, sir. And we didn't always have to be Who. I mean, I don't know if you're into comics or any other stuff like that or animation.
Not comics, but I'm into most things.
Or DC animation, stuff like that. Well, good. Well, let's talk again, man. I would love to have you on again. And again, your channel has got you got me through a lot. As has Knowles, because he's been talking about this stuff for a long time, and I appreciate you. And I want to thank Lord Thoth, brother. Thank you.
Avon
so
lives,
much.
long live the Legion, and thank
Yeah.
you for the invite. This was an honor being amongst all these great channels. Thank you, everyone, for letting me take this journey with you. This was awesome, and shout out to the chat. They're on fire as always. Thank you for coming.
Everyone that came in the chat, thank you all so much. And Thoth, dude, brother, soon we'll have our Legion show again. We got to talk Legion. It's been too long, buddy. So
sounds good to me.
A couple of weeks, man. And Raymond, thanks for popping in, buddy. I'm glad your channel is doing well. And of course, you can put all the info in there. In there for everyone.
And you all are more than invited to come on over and let's chat FF.
Absolutely. We will talk FF soon, of course. Cogney, thank you for coming in, buddy. I had no idea you were a Doctor Who fan, even though you're disguised as Mirror Spock right there. But that's your disguise. Spock should be in the TARDIS.
I mean Star Trek. I mean all of them. I mean thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate everyone except for Ash because he's mentioned Jody. No, I'm just kidding. Ash, thank you for being here, brother. I love you, man.
Let's go there. Let's go there. I'm going there.
Oh, dude. No, look, man. No, he's trolling me with that trash. Wait, but we do have the news report.
Breaking news, guys.
Man of Stool sucks. The freak Man of Stool sucks. But Ash is okay. We'll let him troll me because we love him. Even though Wesley sucks too. But I appreciate you, brother. Retro. Dude, you were spectacular as always, brother. And thanks.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Let's see. I feel like someone was here and had to leave. Who was it? Did we lose anybody?
70s.
Who?
70s and J-Man.
I've never heard of that. Oh, that guy. We love it. No, we love him.
70s and J-Man as well. He was awesome.
J-Man,
well.
that rascal left. You see, that's how bad my friggin' memory is, my friends. But thanks. We love Doctor Who. It's a happy anniversary to Doctor Who in spite of the filth that's happening to it right now. We did talk about, there he is, that Rascals, that 70s show. Thank you, buddy. But we still do love the real stuff. So, and who knows what will happen going forward. But again, everyone, thank you. TARDIS Zone, Raymond, King Dolphin TV, Captain Cogney Spock, Formula Bulls Trek, Ash Who, Lord Thoth, Retro Dicky, J-Man, and who's that guy? Oh, yeah, 70s. Thank you all, and thank you, chat. Appreciate you. And, of course, always shout out to my wonderful First Officer, Raquel Briggs, for this spiffy intro, outro for the Global Geek Gang. We'll be here next week. Hopefully I'll have more time. I'm sorry to run quick, folks. Just family stuff. Take care, everyone.
Cheers.